This is ChestertonRadio.com.
And here's the cinnamon bell.
Left Judy and Jimmy and their friends in a pretty tight spot last time. You probably remember how Mr. Presto, the correspondence school magician, made several passes at his big silk hat and conjured up Penelope the Pelican, who had made off with the silver star. Unfortunately, however, when Mr. Presto exerted his magic power to pull Penelope back, he did it so violently that she dropped the star on the island of Obi. Then, to crown their misfortunes, they were about to open an interesting-looking chest, which they found on the beach, when all of a sudden they were surrounded by pirates. And I must say, they looked most ferocious.
Oh, Jimmy, I'm so scared. What do you suppose these pirates will do to us?
Willikers, I don't know, Judy. Gee, we didn't even touch their chest.
What right have you pirates to molest us? We were minding our own business.
Hey, you'll find out soon enough, won't he, mateys? Hey, we can't take this dragon. He's too big for the rowboat.
Maybe he'll be able to rescue us like he did before.
I sure hope so.
Hey, you two children in the bear, you follow us.
Where do you want to take us?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I sure would, all right. And what's more, you can't take Judy and Patio Cinnamon and me if you don't tell us.
We're taking you with us on board our ship.
Me too?
Oh, definitely you.
Well, why me?
Well, you're all far too curious for your own good. You'll know in good time.
If you don't need me, I have a very pressing engagement.
Oh, you can go whenever you like. The sooner the better. Scat!
In spite of your undignified rejoinder, I take my leave.
Goodbye, Crazy Quilt Dragon.
Goodbye. Goodbye, Crazy Quilt, old pal.
Goodbye, my friend. Just wait until I find a few barrels of corks. Goodbye.
Well, all ready? Forward. One-Eyed Joe and Black Ben, take the treasure chest.
Aye, aye.
Barnaby Bright, you and Cox and Charlie stand by to shove off the boat.
Aye, aye.
And the rest of you assist our friends into the boat.
Aye, aye.
I don't like the way they're laughing at all.
It does have a very unpleasant ring to my ears.
Jimmy, take my hand.
All right. I won't let them hurt you, Judy, no matter what.
Are we all ready?
Aye.
Then let's go. All hands to the oars.
Aye.
Shove off. There, we're off. Heave ho, my hearties. For the ship. Heave.
Ho!
Heave.
Ho!
Heave.
Ho! Heave.
I sight the ship, mate. Ahoy, the Susie Q! Ahoy, below. What do you report? Treasure and captive.
Oh, Jimmy, now we're captives again. I hope they won't treat us like those old Incaboos.
Oh, I don't think so, Judy. After all, those Incaboos were just blotter people. And these pirates are folks just like us. And maybe they won't want to make pirates out of us.
Excuse me. I never could be a sailor, much less a pirate. These ocean waves are very hard on my stuffing.
Ahoy above! Ahoy below! Throw us a rope! Aye, aye. Let down the gangplank. We have a lady with us. A lady!
Oh, no, I'm not a lady. I'm just a little girl.
Madam, you may be just a little girl at home, but with pirates, you're a lady. May I offer you an arm?
No, thank you, Mr. Pirate. If I have to go, I want Jimmy to go with me. We're twins.
As you wish, madam. Up you go. And now the bear. All right, hoist the longboat. Aye, aye. And now, where may we conduct our captives to Captain Taffy?
He's on the bridge, mate.
Thanks. This way, please.
Oh, dear.
Gee whiz, this sure is a big ship, all right. What did he call it?
The Susie Q.
And now I bring you before our jolly captain. Captain, our prisoners.
Welcome to our pirate ship.
Now, just a minute. Judy's my twin sister, and I gotta take care of her. And if you're gonna make us walk the plank and everything, you better look out, all right.
Well, who said anything about walking planks?
Aren't you pirates? And don't pirates make people walk planks?
Only old-fashioned pirates. Bosun, pipe the chest before us.
Aye, aye.
Open her up.
Oh! Why, it's all candy.
Sure enough.
Gee, toffee and caramel.
Chocolate creams. Oh, my goodness.
Cinnamon sticks, my favorite brand.
You see, we're a new kind of pirates.
What do you mean by that?
We'll tell you all about ourselves in our song. Barnaby Bright, strike up our chanting.
Aye,
We're known as Candy Buccaneers and pirating's our pleasure. We never hunt for buried gold, 'cause candy is our treasure. The very thought of pirate loot is quite enough to bore us. But when we sight a candy bar, we shout and sing this chorus. Hey, 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 hey. Candy ho, there's candy to the starboard. Sing your ho-ho and a bottle of pop. Hey, hey, hey. Candy ho, there's candy to the starboard. Sing your ho-ho and a bottle of pop. Walking planks and fighting duels may be quite fine and dandy, but if there's fighting to be done, we'd rather fight for candy. We're very fond of jelly beans, of lollipops and taffy, and when we capture chocolate fudge, we're positively daffy. Candy ho, there's candy to the starboard. Sing your ho-ho and a bottle of pop. Candy ho, there's candy to the starboard. Sing your ho-ho and a bottle of pop.
Isn't it marvelous, Jimmy?
Oh, it
My
sure is.
goodness, what a relief. Bless my stuffing. I've lived in and around the island maybe for some time, but I never heard of candy pirates.
Well, we don't touch the mainland much, my friend. We mostly keep to the islands.
Islands? Did you ever sail near the island of Obi?
Often. In fact, quite often. Yes, it's one of our favorite anchorages.
Do you think you might be going there pretty soon?
Well, that depends. Well, we might just as well head in that direction as any. Have you some special reason in mind?
We certainly have, Captain. Our silver star's on there.
Silver Star.
Oh, yes. You see, it belongs on our Christmas tree.
Oh. Well, the Candy Pirates would be most happy to aid you in your search for the Silver Star. We'll hoist anchor and sail for the island immediately.
That'll be fine. Do you think it'll take long?
No, not very. How long does it generally take, pilot?
Well, depends on the wind, Captain. It's pretty good today. Oh, not more than an hour or so.
Good. Bosun, pipe up the anchor.
Aye, aye, sir.
Hoist the jib. Up with the topsail. Pilot, take the helm and head for the island of Obi.
Aye, aye, sir.
And now, my friends, a visit with the Candy Pirates would not be complete without a little hospitality.
What's that? Something to eat?
Yes, indeed. What would you say to a little refreshment?
Gee, I'd like that and something to eat besides.
Do you happen to have any cinnamon buns? I haven't eaten any in some time, and I feel quite unferocious.
Why, yes, my friend. It so happens that the cook made cinnamon buns only this morning.
Hooray!
And in my cabin, I have some very, very superior chocolate fudge.
Let's hear no more. Lead on, Captain.
Candy ho, candy
the land has been sighted.
It has? Well, give me the glass.
Is that the island of Obi?
Yes. You want to take a look through the telescope?
Willikers, it's just like the one we looked through to Grohl.
So it is.
Jimmy, look. Isn't that a policeman standing with his back to the ocean?
Well, let's see. Well, yeah, sure it is. He looks like one of those roly-poly dolls. Judy, look at him waving his stick.
He's turning around.
What's that bright thing he's wearing on his coat?
Why, my goodness, it's our silver star.
Well, at least our friends are on the trail of their silver star again, and let's hope that Captain Taffy and the Candy Pirates can get them ashore in time to overtake the roly-poly policeman. It'll be interesting to find out how he happened to get it, and especially if Judy and Jimmy will succeed in getting it back. But we'll have to wait till next time for that.
You are listening to Chesterton Radio at chestertonradio.com.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve. Each week at this time from Hollywood, California, Kraft presents Harold Peary as the Great Gildersleeve, written by Leonard L. Levinson. We'll hear from the Great Gildersleeve in just a moment. But first, I wonder what you mean when you use the word progress, because here's what I mean. Progress means making the old things better and inventing new things that are better than the old. Well, that applies to foods as well as to other things. And modern margarine is an outstanding example. Yes, modern margarine, like parquet margarine made by Kraft, is certainly a lot different from the margarines of even just a few years ago. Yes, all you have to do is to try parquet margarine once to know it's different and better because it tastes so deliciously good. That's why parquet margarine is a favorite everywhere, both for table use and for cooking, too. Now, you all know that proper nutrition is necessary to national defense. Well, parquet margarine is a wholesome, highly nutritious food. In fact, it's one of the best sources of food energy you could serve. And every pound contains 9,000 units of important vitamin A. So get acquainted with this nourishing modern margarine. Delicious parquet margarine made by Kraft. Remember, it's parquet. P-A-R-K-A-Y. And now let's visit our friend, the Great Gildersleeve.
Let me have some more of that green paper, Leroy. Thanks. Hey, who are you sending that necktie to?
It's for Cousin Clinton in Iowa.
Leroy, you can't do that. He's the one who sent you that tie last year.
Oh. Well, in that case, I'll mail it to Uncle Stanley.
Oh, no. Uncle Stanley gave it to Cousin Clinton the year before.
Well, Uncle Mort, how do you know?
Because I gave it to Uncle Stanley 4 years ago.
Oh, are you sure it's the same tie?
Oh, positively, Marjorie. I'd know those purple stripes and those orange dots anyplace.
But, gee, what'll I give Cousin Clinton?
Oh, I think we can skip him this year if we send him a Christmas card.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Llewellyn.
Yes, Miss Marjorie.
Be sure to address a card to our Cousin Clinton, will you, please?
Yes, ma'am, right away.
Say, how are you coming along with the addressing and the sealing, Llewellyn?
Well, I'm a widow groggy.
Yeah?
I feel as if I'd whipped my weight in Christmas seals. I wish they'd get some different flavored glue, like strawberry, raspberry, cherry, orange, lemon, or lime.
They'll come to that, Llewellyn. You're just a little ahead of time. Yeah. Here, Leroy, what are you doing?
Me? Oh, I just thought I'd see what's in this package Piggy Banks gave me.
But, Leroy, it's marked don't open until Christmas.
Yes. Haven't you any self-control or willpower, young man? Don't you realize that if you opened all your gifts ahead of time, when Christmas morning came around, you wouldn't have a single toy left to break?
But, gee, I caught Marjorie sniffing around the present you gave her, Uncle Mort.
I was not, Leroy.
Mort, too.
I just happened to drop it, and I was afraid it might be perfume.
Oh, yes. Well, it's not perfume. It's a whoops. I almost told you then. Now, both you children stop acting childish. Let me alone while I wrap this present. It's for Fibber McGee. I've already sent Molly McGee a big bottle of perfume, so I better get Fibber McGee's present in the mail for Wistful Vista tonight.
Oh, what did you get for him, Uncle Mort?
Something he needs badly. An electrical pants presser. It's a neat little gadget, isn't it? Although I doubt if it'll make much of an impression on those gunny sacks McGee wears.
You think that's enough of a gift for Mr. McGee?
Why not? Cost me 39 cents at the cut-rate drugstore.
39 cents?
Yeah.
But I thought Mr. McGee was a close friend of yours.
He is, Leroy. He's the closest friend I've got. And I'm not speaking geographically or intimately. I'm speaking financially.
Well, I never knew that.
Well, he isn't exactly tight. He's more of the borrow a tool today and return when rusty type. The more I think about the things McGee has borrowed, the less I think of him. Who does he imagine he is? The doorbell? I mean the doorbell. It's ringing. Yeah, I'll get it. Yes?
Is this your domicile at Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve?
It is.
This is it, Shorty. Okay, lift.
Hey, this is plenty heavy. Hey, where do you want this box, mister?
Put it right down here for now. What's in it, mister?
Just keep your shirt on, will you, buddy?
Oh,
All right, ready, Spike?
Yeah, let's get this over with.
All right.
A 1, a 2, a 3.
Oh, Gildersleeve, oh, Gildersleeve, a Merry Christmas to you. Oh, Gildersleeve, are you old tide, hallelujah. We've brung a great big gift, you see, from wistful vistas, Fibber McGee. Oh, Gildersleeve, oh, Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve, please sign here on the dotted line.
Well, a singing expressman, eh?
Yeah. We are something in the nature of an experiment.
Oh, I see. You're doing it for the company to see if it's satisfactory, yeah?
Oh, no, we're doing it for the men to see if it's remunerative.
Oh, yes, I get it. Well, here you are, boys. A dime for each of you.
A dime. Why, Spike, this guy ain't got no respect for music.
Yeah, but he sure got a lot of respect for money.
Saw a box so hard to get open.
Oh.
Must have taken me an hour. Yeah. Now to see what Fibber McGee has sent me.
What is it, Uncle Mort?
Yes.
Gee, another box.
Yeah?
And all done up with Christmas wrappings and stuff.
Oh, my goodness. Hand me the hatchet again, Leroy.
Oh, no, Unc. Can't you see what it says?
Where? Oh, don't open till Christmas. And this means you, Gildy old snoop. McGee never means what he says. The hatchet, please, Leroy.
But, Uncle Mort, where's your willpower?
Yes, and how about your self-control?
Oh, they're fine. It's my curiosity that's got the best of me. Oh, gee, let me take one little peek, will you, huh?
Now who's acting childish, Uncle Mort?
You're right, Marjorie. I wasn't setting you a good example. Hand me some of that ribbon, and I'll get this pants presser off to my old chum. Oh, what am I saying? I can't send McGee this dinky little present now.
Why not?
Because that box probably contains a large, valuable gift for me. And alongside of it, my cheap little crease iron will look like, 39 cents.
What do you think you should do, Uncle?
I better go right downtown and get him something better.
Oh, I think that's very nice of you, Uncle Mort.
It sure is.
I think so, too. Now, in order to get an idea of how much McGee spent so I won't spend any more, don't you think I should take one quick little look as to what he sent me?
No.
All right, I was just suggesting.
Say, if you're going downtown, you better hurry up. getting late and the stores are awfully overcrowded.
Oh, I won't have any trouble. Get your cap and coat, Leroy.
I'll be right with you. Are you taking Leroy through those mobs with you?
Yes, Marjorie. He and I have worked out a wonderful system for Christmas shopping. Haven't we, Leroy?
I'll say.
What kind of a system?
It's called the angleworm formation. Leroy goes ahead and figures out an angle, and I worm my way through.
Gee, Uncle Mort, this is certainly a ritzy store.
Yes. Haven't I always said that the best is none too good for Fibber McGee?
Well, how do you do, sir? What will it be?
I'm looking for a present for a friend.
Do you think he might like a half-dozen imported cravats?
Say, Unc, what's a cravat?
A cravat is a necktie that sells for $5, Leroy. No, I'd like to get him a more substantial gift. Oh, here's something. Maybe he'd like a dressing gown or a robe, huh?
Why, yes, we have some lovely ones. Say, in the neighborhood of $100.
Have you got anything in a cheaper neighborhood?
Well, here are a few in the vicinity of $60.
Oh, yes. This brown silk one would be exactly the right thing. If you have it in a smaller size and some other color and a different material and a little less expensive.
Well, then I'll have to go back in the stockroom and see what we have there. If you'll just wait a moment.
Don't worry. Yes. Quit trying on those derbies, Leroy. You can never tell who wore them before you did.
But I only wanted to see how I looked in one, Unc.
How can you see when they come down to your nose on you? Now, just stand still.
Oh, just the sort of person I'm looking for. Oh, excuse me, sir, but there's a little favor I'd like to ask of you.
Certainly, madam. What can I do for you?
Well, do you see that man standing over there at the sweater counter?
Oh, you mean the funny-looking gent with the bat wing ears and the dirty look? Has he been annoying you?
No, he's my husband.
Oh, he is? Oh, well, I didn't mean that nice-looking chap. I was talking about the one in the checkered overcoat standing next to him. The fat guy that looks like a cross between a scow and a barge.
That's the one who's my husband, sir. You see, I want to surprise him with this pretty blue robe for Christmas.
Oh.
But I don't know if it's the right size for him, so I thought that being that you two are of the same build...
What? You think I'm as chubby as that tubby?
No. Oh, now, please, I don't want him to suspect a thing.
Why don't you help the lady out, Uncle Mort?
Huh? Yes, why not? Here, let me have it, madam. Hold it up, Leroy. Thanks.
Oh, this is so nice of you, really.
Not at all. Would you care to have me parade up and down like one of those models?
No, thank you. Now, just tie the belt.
Yeah.
Oh, there. Now, turn around, please.
Yeah?
Oh, dear.
What's wrong? Is my slip showing?
Well, either I picked the wrong size or else you're stouter than my husband.
No, see here, lady.
Well, we can soon see. I have a tape measure here in my bag somewhere.
Tape measure?
I know Leo's size.
Oh.
Let me see. Oh, yes, here it is. Now, if you'll just put your arms up, I'll slip this tape around your waist and find out what size.
Hey! What are you doing with your arms around that man?
Oh, my goodness. He mustn't find out about the surprise. Pretend that you're my cousin George.
I said, why are you hugging this fella, Fanny?
Oh, Leo, it's Cousin George. I haven't seen him for years. You don't blame me for being glad to see my own cousin, do you?
No, not at all. Glad to meet you, George.
The pleasure's all mine.
Voice still changing, huh?
Yeah.
Well, George, Fanny's told me all about you, but I always picked you as a different man.
Well, I was a different man up till quite recently.
Oh, it's just too bad that Cousin George is just passing through town and can't stop over for a visit. Aren't you, Cousin George?
Who? Oh, me? Oh, yes, Cousin George. I just happened to be driving.
Driving? I thought you hated automobiles.
Do I?
Yeah, didn't the automobile ruin your horse collar business?
Oh, I don't know, did it? Oh, yes, of course. But I'm not one to hold a grudge.
You're not?
Well, not more than 20 years, anyway.
Say, that reminds me. What's happened to Francis these days?
Francis? Oh, he's all right.
He? Since when is Francis a he?
I mean, she's just dandy. I talked to her long distance only last night.
Talk to her? How can you talk long distance to a horse?
Well, you picked... Oh, that Francis. Yeah. I thought you meant the other Francis. You know the one I mean, don't you, Cousin Fanny?
Of course. Your wife.
Yeah. My what?
I never knew you were married, George, old boy.
Oh, well, it's all sort of a secret. We eloped to Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls. Boy, that's a hot one.
What's so hot about Niagara Falls?
Well, Leo just thinks it's funny that you'd elope to Niagara Falls when you've lived right there all your life.
Oh, my goodness. Sorry, I can't stand around here, folks. I've got to catch a train.
What about your automobile?
I hate him again. Come on, Leroy.
I'm coming, Pappy.
So that was your cousin George, Fanny, and you got the nerve to criticize my dad.
Oh, dear.
Wait a minute, Uncle Mort. Where are we going?
Out. Let's get away from there before that gorilla gets hep.
But if you'll just
He'll
wait-
wring my neck. How do I manage to get into such affairs?
It was Cousin Fanny that did it. Where are you taking me, Uncle Mort?
As far away as our chubby little legs will carry us. Now, don't dilly-dally, Leroy.
But, gee, Uncle, you can't scram like this.
I can't, huh? Why not? By George, it was a lucky thing I kept calm and cool all through that encounter.
But, Uncle Mort,
What have you been but Uncle Morning about, Leroy? Come out with it.
I've been trying to tell you all along. We've got to go back to the store.
Why?
You're still wearing that baby blue bathrobe.
Oh!
Oh, there they are now, Mr. Llewellyn.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Uncle Mort. Hello, Leroy.
Hello.
Oh. Did you get something nice for Mr. McGee?
No, we had a terrible time. I haven't been pushed around so much since my baby carriage days.
Gosh, you never saw so many places out of so much stuff that so many people wanted so bad.
What sort of present were you looking for?
Well, Llewellyn, something unusual and expensive that he doesn't have already.
Yeah. Uncle Mort almost got a dandy baby blue bathrobe, but after he took it outside to see how it looked in the daylight, he took it back.
Yeah. Well, we'll go down and try it again tomorrow. Maybe you'll come along, Marjorie, to help me. Say, there's something missing in this room.
I was wondering how long it would be before you noticed the difference.
Well, what is it? Come, Llewellyn, don't be coy. What have you done?
I took Mr. McGee's present, wagged it out of here, and walked it in the wampus room closet.
You did, eh? And why did you do that?
Oh, just so you could resist opening it before Christmas.
Well, that took a lot of nerve.
Oh, no, it just took a lot of strength. Believe me, before I was through, I bitterly regretted starting the whole proposition. Willie, I was a wreck.
Yes, Mr. Llewellyn worked quite hard.
Llewellyn, the next time you poke your probing proboscis into my personal affairs, I'm going to take a swing at it.
What was that, Mr. Gildersleeve?
If you fool around with something that's no skin off your nose, why, by George, it will be.
Oh, please, Mr. Gildersleeve, don't lose your temper.
Who's losing their temper?
But you're raising your voice.
Who's raising their voice?
You're just angry because I hid your present.
Oh, is that so? I suppose you know everything that's going on in my mind.
Yep. I can read you like a dictionary.
Yes. If you can read me like a dictionary, why don't you turn to the letter D and under discharged? You'll find that's where you are.
Why, Mr. Gildersleeve, what do you mean?
I mean that you're fired, dismissed, finished, sacked. Now, do you understand?
Well, all right. If that's the way you feel. Goodbye. Goodbye, Miss Marjorie.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Leroy.
Goodbye, Mr. Llewellyn.
What's he getting so huffy about? I never saw such an excitable fellow in all my life. But the man has got no Christmas spirit. Making me fire him right before the holidays.
Hey, he didn't get his pay, did he, Uncle Mort?
By Jove, that's right. You better run after him, Leroy, and tell him to come back for his money.
Okay, Uncle Mort.
And Leroy.
Yes, Unc?
Tell him if he behaves himself, he can come back to work.
Sure.
He had no right getting me all worked up after a hard day's shopping. I'm not an unreasonable man, am I, Marjorie?
Of course not, Uncle Mort.
Yeah, I'm just as nice as the next man. Sometimes nicer, too.
I couldn't see him anywhere, Uncle Mort.
You mean he's gone?
Well, it was snowing rather hard.
Oh, jumping jeeps. I've turned him out into the cold with only a thin mackintosh.
Oh, now don't you worry, Uncle Mort. Just call him at his hotel tomorrow after you've both cooled off.
Yes, of course. Oh, I can't do that. I don't know where he lives. Do either of you?
No, I don't think so.
Not me.
Oh, my goodness. I'm a cad. I'm a bounder. No, not a bounder, just a cad. I won't be able to look myself in the face the next time I shave. What'll I do?
Say, maybe Bertie knows where he lives.
Oh, yes, Bertie. Maybe she does. I'll go find out. Bertie?
Yes, sir?
Do you know where... Llewellyn, what are you doing here?
Oh, just eating my supper, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh! Going down?
Hey, wait a minute!
No use, Leroy. They're booking passage on those elevators a couple of days in advance. Let's wander into the furniture department.
Well, we've looked every place else for a present. Maybe we'll find something there.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking about Fibber McGee's present, Marjorie. I only wanted to rest. My feet ache clear up to my shoulder blades.
Oh, poor Uncle Mort.
Yeah.
Look, here's a nice big leather chair.
Huh?
Try it, why don't you?
Oh, thank you. I will. Very comfortable. Now, if I could only take my shoes off, but there I go, daydreaming again.
Hey, look at the buttons on the arm of this chair.
Huh?
I wonder what this one does.
Oh. Help me. The chair is now a bed.
Oh, Leroy, now look what you've done.
Gee, the back goes down and the bottom comes up. Here, I'll give you a hand, Unc.
You know, on second thought, this is so nice, I think I'll take 40 winks. Wake me up in 1942, will you?
Uncle, you can't sleep there.
Oh, yes, I can. Watch me. Say, this is certainly a great invention.
Now, I wonder what this button does.
You spoiled everything. It's a chair again.
How do, folks? Interested in the Snorwell reclining chair?
Oh, is that what it is? Well, mighty cozy little one-man couch.
And an ideal Christmas present for father, husband, friend, or boss.
Uncle McGee, how about it?
Yes, Uncle McGee. How about it?
Yes. Say, that's not a bad idea. In fact, it's the best one I've had so far.
Let me tell you about some of the Snorwell features.
Oh.
3 comfy, cuddly positions.
Yes?
Sitting, snoozing, and sleeping. Made of the toughest bull leather. Overstuffed, underslung. Why, you couldn't be more tickled if you bought a feather bed.
Huh?
Buy one for the rest of your life. Catch on?
Yes.
Oh, brother. Now, there's a salesman.
What do you think, Uncle Mort?
Well, how much is it?
$39.95. That's without any of the accessories and attachments, of course.
Oh,
You mean it's got attachments like a vacuum cleaner?
Yes, sir. The Snorwell is the first fully mechanized chair.
Well, I'm interested now. This is for a friend of mine who is rather mechanically minded.
Yes?
Yes, he invented an illuminated sundial once. For cloudy days, you know. No, you wouldn't know.
Let me show you these features. Here's the overhead reading lamp, also dandy for shaving.
Yes.
Then we have a combination ashtray and cigar lighter that appears and disappears at the touch of a button.
What does it do with the ashes? Dump them under the rug?
We also have an electric clock in a compartment for sandwiches with a tank for ice water.
Gee, it does everything but sing you to sleep.
Yeah.
It'll do that, too.
What?
For $24 more, we'll put a little radio inside the headrest.
My goodness, if you tack a mailbox on the side of this chair, you could live in it. No, this one seems a little damaged. Look at this crack in it.
Crack?
Yeah.
That is no crack.
What?
It's a slot for old razor blades.
Do you know, Uncle, the more I hear about it, the more I'm convinced that this is just the present for Mr. McGee.
So am I. Young man, how much would one cost with all the accessories?
Well, the Super Deluxe Shoot the Works model sells for $119.95.
Oh, my dear. But what do you think, children?
Oh, yes, take it. What do you got to lose?
$119.95. But I guess I'll do it just the same.
Gee, I knew I'd sell one of these someday.
What?
Where is it to be delivered, sir?
It goes to Fibber McGee, 79 Wistful Vista, Wistful Vista. Yeah. Can you have it delivered there before Christmas?
Yes, sir. We can send it out by express this afternoon.
Yeah, good. Charge it to Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve. Here's my card.
Thank you, Mr. Gildersleeve, and season's greetings.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to you. Come on, you two. We can go home now. Certainly is a load off my... Well, hello, Judge Hooker. Christmas shopping, I see.
Oh, hello, Gildersleeve. How are you, Marjorie?
Just fine, Judge Hooker.
Season's greetings, Judge.
Thank you. You all look so happy there can only be one reason.
Yeah?
You just finished buying the last of your holiday gifts.
Yes, that's it. And it certainly was a humdinger.
Yes, sir. It was for...
Leroy, let's keep it a secret. It was for a certain very good friend of mine, Judge.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, a real pal, you know. Well, we'll be seeing you. Come on, children. Let's make another try for the elevator.
Say, could that present be for me? After all, I have been a pal to him. I'd just like to know. Young man.
Yes, sir?
My friend who was just here, he told me what he bought, but it slipped my mind. What was it again?
Oh, it was a present. A Snorwell reclining chair with $80 worth of accessories.
Well, that must be for me. Gildersleeve broke the springs in my best lounge chair, and now he's making up for it. Say, now I'll have to get him something better than that flashlight I bought him for Christmas. Thank you, young man. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Gee whiz. So that's Fibber McGee.
like something going on in this house. Mm-mm. Sounds like somebody's raising a rumpus in the rumpus room. I'm going to investigate. I don't know why I'm so brave. In fact, I don't know if I'm so brave. I better stop here in the kitchen first. Now I feel better. Peculiar how much confidence a couple of carving knives gives a lady. Stop what you doing. I got you surrounded. I got you covered.
Bertie, what are you doing here at this time of the night?
Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve. Oh, my goodness. I thought it was a burglar. Oh, my stars in the firmament. That was a burglar.
Huh?
What's that all chopped up, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Oh, chopped up? Oh, well, that's the present Mr. McGee sent me.
Oh, then that means there wasn't no burglar nohow.
Huh?
Honest or truly, Mr. Gildersleeve, you ought to be ashamed of yourself scaring folks at 3 a.m. in the morning and sneaking around in your pajamas, snooping at your Christmas presents ahead of time. Lucky I caught you before you got it open. Now, you go on back to bed.
Yeah, but Bertie.
Go on now, get. You understand what that is?
No.
You know what you is?
No, what?
You is a problem uncle, that's what. Good night.
Judge Hooker, yes. Come right in, Judge.
I'm still a few days early, but I couldn't wait. Merry Christmas, Gildersleeve.
Well, and what's this?
Oh, just a little present I picked out for you, Gildy, old pal.
For me? Well, what is it, Judge?
Set of matched golf clubs in a leather bag.
Oh, Judge, you shouldn't have done it. By the way, I've got something for you.
Oh, no. Well, I didn't expect anything.
Well, it isn't very much.
Oh, I bet it isn't.
Yeah. I had it right here in the hall.
Yeah?
Oh, yes. Here it is. This little box.
Huh? This little box?
Huh?
Oh. Oh, thank you very much, Gildy.
Oh, won't you come in and look at our tree, Judge?
No, I've got to be getting along now. I feel a headache coming on.
Oh.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, and thanks for the wonderful present, old pal.
Welcome. Goodbye.
Yeah. Say, Marjorie, look at the dandy golf outfit Judge Hooker gave me for Christmas.
Oh, look at that. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
What did you give him, Uncle Mort?
The pants presser I almost sent to McGee.
Hey, will you two come into the rumpus room?
Oh, sure. Come on, Marjorie. What is it, Leroy?
Look at this. Somebody tried to get into the box Fibber McGee sent Uncle Mort.
Oh, why, yeah. Chips and splinters all around and holes in the box. Why, who could have done it, Uncle?
A mice. Hey, we better take a look inside to see if it's damaged any.
But it's still 4 days till Christmas, Unc.
Well, but who knows what's happened to it? We better act quickly. Let me have that hatchet. Thank you. Of course, you know I'd never open it under ordinary circumstances. There. Put the lid someplace, Leroy. Well, everything's all right so far. At last. I'm so excited I can hardly tear off the wrappings. Now we can see what we can see. What's this? Oh, a card. Dear Chum Gildy. Oh, good old Fibber. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And here's your old lawnmower back. Signed, Fibber McGee. Oh!
The great Gildersleeve will be with us again in a few minutes. You know, people who won't try new things certainly miss a lot. Yes, you just can't know whether you really like something or not until you actually try it yourself. That's why I urge everyone to try delicious parquet margarine, made by Kraft. Because you're really missing something if you haven't tried this truly modern margarine. First of all, you're missing the delicate, appetizing flavor that makes parquet margarine outstanding. Why, Americans from coast to coast have found they prefer parquet margarine because it tastes so good, both for table use and for cooking, too. Secondly, parquet margarine is an economical source of food values your family needs. Now, that's very important these days. Proper nutrition is essential to national defense. You see, parquet margarine is wholesome and nutritious. It's one of the best energy foods you could serve. And especially important in the wintertime, Kraft adds 9,000 units of vitamin A to every pound of parquet, making it a dependable source of this vitamin the year round. Now, with food prices rising, you owe it to yourself to find out how delicious and nourishing economical Parquet margarine is. So don't put it off. Ask your food dealer tomorrow for Parquet. Parkay.
Hand me those pajamas, Leroy.
Here you are.
Yeah, thanks. And to think that now that extra shirt, Marjorie.
It's in the bag already, Uncle.
Oh, well, I'll show him a thing or two.
Excuse me, Uncle Mort, but where are you going?
To Wistful Vista, my dear. I'm going to try and get back my $119 chair before it's delivered to Fibber McGee's house.
You aren't going to be way over Christmas, are you?
Oh, no, I'm just going to be there Tuesday night. And remind me on the way to the station. I've got to stop at the cut-rate drugstore.
What for?
To get McGee another pants presser. Merry Christmas, everybody, and good night.
Original music heard on this program was composed and conducted by William Randolph. This is Jim Bannon speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company and inviting you to be with us again next week at the same time for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
This is Chesterton Radio, your home for podcasts of works by G.K. Chesterton, plus drama, comedy, mystery, science fiction, big bands, and much more. The soundtrack to your Chesterton day at chestertonradio.com.
Don't turn that dial. This is the right station if you want to hear about Jonathan Thomas and his Christmas on the Moon. In the heart of the forest, deep with gloom, where the wind harps toll the knell of doom, ride Jonathan Thomas and Gorgonzola and the kind old man in the moon. And they ride in quest of a kindly deed, as a knight of old on his fiery steed. And because of their goodness, they invoke fairy laws, for they ride to the rescue of old Santa Claus. For that good old man of Christmas Day was wickedly kidnapped and carried away, and if they don't find him, oh my, oh dear, there won't be any Christmas at all this year. So you see, that's the reason that Jonathan Thomas has traveled so far to keep his promise and brave the terrors and frights, because he was sworn to bring back Santa Claus. And so there they are in the forest so deep, where the wind does wail till their flesh does creep, where the dragons and monsters shriek and roar to gobble them up. My goodness, what's more, where witches and goblins appear on their path and call down their curses and sneer and laugh. But never you mind, they're not afraid, for you couldn't have paid them enough to have stayed, 'cause they're bound and determined to get what they're after. So Christmas this year will be just full of laughter. Now, of course, you remember the Fairy Queen, the most beautiful fairy that was ever seen, of how she gave them some charms they could take, a magical acorn to keep them awake. For the forest, you know, puts all travelers to sleep. But not so our heroes, for they've an acorn to keep. But charms aren't enough to ward every hitch, and the evil spells of the wicked old witch who lives in the kingdom of Rumpelstiltskin. But my gracious, I've talked enough for 10 men. So here's where the story begins again.
I am the witch of Rumpelstiltskin, and I sew my spells with an evil stitch. So speak, O magic mirror wise, of my spell that in the forest lies.
O mighty witch of Rumpelstiltskin, this I can tell of your magic spell, that another whose power doth greatly foretell hath created a charm which works very well to weaken your magic and your strength to dispel.
You lie, you wicked looking-glass, and I'll heap your pieces in the grass, unless the truth to me you keep, and tell me of my magic sleep.
Not so, O witch. As you know, forsooth, I always tell the truth. And in the forest's gloom so deep, a charm doth work against your sleep. For in the forest do I see not one of them, but 1, 2, 3.
Curses on that fairy queen. The last of me they have not seen. For I'll work and toil till my brew doth boil. And then my magic will be most tragic. And to you, O mirror, I make this promise. I'll put an end to Jonathan Thomas. Squim-dum-do, squim-dum-dee. Just you wait, and you will see. Just you wait, and you will see.
Oh, we're off to the land of Scribble. We'll walk and we'll run and we'll hobble. We'll never come back till we've taken a whack at the terrible land of Scribble.
Hey, stop that racket. Stop that infernal noise, I say. Do you hear?
Did you hear something, Mr. Man in the Moon?
I thought I did. Well, I guess I didn't.
That's because you are deaf in one ear and you can't hear out of the other.
My gracious to goodness, what was that?
Yes. Who was that?
It wasn't the wind. That's who it wasn't. That was me. Me.
Jiminy Crickets.
It certainly is not Jiminy Crickets.
Well, then, who are you?
None of your business. Coming around here in the middle of the winter, waking a person up out of a sound sleep.
Well, whoever you are, you're not very nice.
No, you're not. You sassy imp, that's what you are.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me.
What's that you say?
I don't chew my cabbage twice.
My gracious to Jiminy Crickets. You're going to get me mad in a minute.
Only dogs get mad, so bah!
Oh, look, Mr. Man in the Moon. It's only a widowed squirrel.
I am not so little. I am as big for me as you are for you, so bah! And you dasn't come up in this tree, or I'll show you who's bigger and who.
My gracious. Never did I see such a grouchy squirrel.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well?
Don't pay any attention to him, Mr. Man in the Moon, 'cause he's nothing but an old, grumpy, smart aleck.
Oh, fee fudge. Well, he makes me so mad.
You are mad, and I am glad, and I know what to please you. A strawberry tart to make you smart, and a little boy to tease you.
Oh.
Come on, Mr. Man in the Moon. Let us go. 'Cause if we don't, you're liable to get madder and mad.
I'm already mad.
And Mr. Gorgonzola's liable to get mad. And if he does, maybe he'll drop the magic acorn, and then...
Did you say acorn?
Of course I did.
I'll be right down.
Oh, my gracious to goodness. Oh, me. Oh, my. Oh, dear.
Hello. Here I am. My name is Whiskery Bill.
My name's Jonathan Thomas, and this is the Man in the Moon, and this is Gorgonzola, the horse.
Pleased to meet you. Now, where did you say that acorn was?
I didn't say, but it's in Gorgonzola's mouth.
Oh. Then, let's say we all sit down and eat it up?
Of course not.
Why?
Because, that's why.
The Man in the Moon is stingy. The Man in the Moon is stingy.
He is not. And anyway, you couldn't eat up this acorn.
Huh. I'd like to see any old acorn I couldn't eat. I am the champion acorn eater of Nightmare Forest. So there.
But you couldn't eat up this acorn because it's a magic one. And besides, if you did, we'd all go to sleep and not wake up for 1,000,000,000,000,000 years.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
You hush your fuss. Whoever's talking to you.
Why, you.
Shame on you, Whiskery Bill. You shouldn't talk like that to Mr. Man in the Moon. It isn't nice, and you should ought to be spanked.
Yeah, spanked. And I'm just the man who can do it, too.
You could see one spank-a-free.
That's all I wanted. Let flim-flam flag.
Oh, don't get off the horse, Mr. Man in the Moon, or you'll go to sleep.
Scaredy cat, afraid as you can be. If you ran 1,000,000 years, you never could catch me.
All right, come on, Jonathan Thomas, let's go. I'm so mad I can see double. Come on, get up, Gorgonzola.
Oh, catch me, Mr. Man in the Moon. I'm slipping.
Jonathan Thomas.
I'm folding.
Oh, Gorgonzola. Whoa. Oh, Jonathan Thomas. Hurry up, get back on the horse.
Oh, I am so sleepy.
Oh, dear. Wake up. Oh, my goodness gracious. He's going to sleep. See what you did, Whiskery Bill?
Oh, gee, Mr. Man in the Moon. I didn't mean to. Honest, I didn't.
Poor Jonathan Thomas. Whatever shall we do? Whatever shall we do?
Oh, magic mirror on the wall, tell me now what doth befall within the forest gloom. Is my magic nicely tragic as it brought them to their doom?
Oh, mighty witch of Rumpelstiltskin, much I see that I must tell. For within the forest deep, a little boy lies sound asleep. Thus your spell doth work most well.
You see, because of me, there is an end to 1, 2, 3, and there is no magic in their tears. He'll sleep for 100,000,000 years. Squim-dum-do, squim-dum-dee. I promised you that you would see. That you would see.
Oh, my goodness. Poor Jonathan Thomas. The wicked old witch was right, for in spite of the Fairy Queen's charms, he did fall into the arms of sleep, which the old witch has said will keep him for 100,000,000 years, in spite of their tears. Oh, my. I wonder whatever shall they do now. And what about Santa Claus? Be sure to listen to the next story about Jonathan Thomas and see what happens.
This is Chesterton Radio, the true, good, and beautiful at chestertonradio.com.
Lux presents Hollywood. Lever Brothers Company, the makers of Lux Flakes, bring you the Lux Radio Theater, starring Maureen O'Hara, John Payne, and Edmund Gwenn in Miracle on 34th Street. Ladies and gentlemen, your producer, Mr. William Keighley.
Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Our Christmas present to you is the new Christmas classic of our time, Miracle on 34th Street. It's wrapped in a gay covering of laughter, tied with a bright ribbon of good humor, and decorated with the 3 sparkling stars of the 20th Century Fox picture, Maureen O'Hara, John Payne, and Edmund Gwenn. This is a wonderful story for the whole family, and perhaps some families may be gathered around a Christmas tree as they listen. Others will be putting up this happy sign of the season in a few days with lights and ornaments and the shining snow that can be made with Lux Flakes. Later, we'll tell you how to do this trick with Lux. But right now, it's curtain time for the play that proves there's a Santa Claus. Miracle on 34th Street, starring Maureen O'Hara as Doris, John Payne as Fred, and Edmund Gwenn in his Academy Award-winning performance as Kris Kringle. It's Thanksgiving Day in New York City. On a broad avenue adjoining Central Park, an annual event is being joyfully awaited. The spectacular parade presented by Macy's department store to herald in the Christmas season. Away from the crowd are two of Macy's public relations experts.
He's simply wonderful, Mrs. Walker. Just look at him on that float. The most realistic Santa Claus we've ever had. Why, he didn't even need any padding, did he?
Padding?
Why, didn't you notice his tummy? So round, so firm, so fully packed. Well, now that everything's under control, where on earth did you find him?
I don't know. I just turned around and there he was.
And to think that the man whose place he took was intoxicated.
With a breath that would knock over a reindeer.
Oh, just think if Mr. Macy had seen him.
What if Mr. Gimble had seen him? Competition between our stores is tough enough.
Well, the parade's starting. Let's stand at the curb.
Not I, Mr. Shellhammer. I'm going home to relax. Anyway, I can see it from there. I live just around the corner.
Oh, so you do. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, Mrs. Walker. And congratulations on finding the best Santa Claus in Macy's history.
Certainly is a wonderful parade, Susan. Just look at that clown. Gosh, what a giant.
Giant, Mr. Gailey? There are no such things as giants.
Well, not now, maybe, but in olden days there's...
Really, Mr. Gailey? And you a lawyer.
Well, what about the giant that Jack killed? You know, Jack and the Beanstalk?
Everybody knows that's a fairy tale. And I agree with my mother. Fairy tales are silly.
Come in.
Good afternoon. Mother, my name's Mary.
Oh, hello, Mother. I'm watching the parade. Mr. Gailey invited me.
Hello, darling.
Susie's told me quite a lot about you, Mrs. Walker.
She told me quite a lot about you, too. The man in the front apartment.
Well, this is all part of a plot, Mrs. Walker. I'm very fond of Susie, but I also wanted to meet you.
At least you're frank.
There's no Santa Claus.
Oh, don't even mention the name.
Why not, Mother?
Well, that Santa Claus you see is a last-minute substitute.
But why?
Oh, remember the way the janitor was last New Year's?
Oh, my. Tight as an owl.
I see Susan doesn't believe in Santa Claus either.
That's right. She never has.
Well, that's the end of the parade. Mother, I've been thinking. It's Thanksgiving, and there are only two of us. Couldn't we invite Mr. Gailey?
Well,
Oh, please don't bother. I'll just have a sandwich or something.
But we have such a big turkey. Please, Mother, please.
Well,
Did I ask her all right, Mr. Gailey?
Susie, shh.
You asked fine, Susan. Dinner's at 3, Mr. Gailey.
Hello, Mrs. Walker.
Yes, Mr. Shellhammer.
Your maid said you were at Thanksgiving dinner, but I just had to tell you. Your Santa Claus was stupendous.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Macy himself wants him to be our toy department Santa Claus.
Oh, fine. Can you hire him?
Oh, I already have. Oh, he's a born salesman. I just feel it.
Good. We'll talk about it in the morning. Thanks for calling, Mr. Shellhammer.
Here he is, Mr. Shellhammer. Here's Santa Claus.
Oh, thank you, Alfred. Thank you. Good morning, Santa Claus.
Good morning.
Now, before you go to the toy department, here's a list of toys that we have to push.
Huh?
You know, things we're overstocked on. Now, you'll find that a great many children will be undecided as to what they want for Christmas. And when that happens, you immediately suggest one of these items. Do you understand?
I certainly do.
Fine, that's fine. Now, take the list, and Alfred here will show you to your throne in the toy department. And don't you forget, you're working for Macy's.
Are you really Santa Claus?
Why, of course I am. What do you want for Christmas, little boy?
I want a fire engine with a real hose that squirts real wet water, and I won't do it in the house. I'll only do it in the backyard, I promise.
And I promise you'll get your fire engine.
You see, Mama, I told you you'd get me one.
That's fine. That's just dandy. You wait here, Mortimer. Mama wants to thank Santa Claus, too.
Yes, madam?
So what's the matter with you?
No. What's the trouble?
I told you before, didn't I? The kid wants a fire engine, but there isn't one to be had anywhere in town. Macy's ain't got any. Gimbel's ain't got any. Nobody's got any. My feet are killing me, and you say, okay, he gets the fire engine.
But you can get those fire engines at Schoenfeld's, Lexington Avenue. Only $4.50, a wonderful bargain.
Schoenfeld's?
Yes.
Hey, I don't get it.
Oh, I follow the toy market very closely.
Macy's sending people to other stores?
Yes.
Are you kidding?
No. The one important thing is to make the children happy. Whether Macy's or somebody else sells the toy doesn't matter. Don't you feel that way?
Who, me?
Yes.
Oh, yes, sure. Only I didn't know Macy's did. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Who's next, please? Right this way to see Santa Claus. All right, little girl. You're next.
Of course, little girl. You want some roller skates? Well, you shall have them, too.
Mama, he's going to bring me some roller skates.
And he has some fine skates here at Macy's, haven't you, Santa Claus?
Oh, they're good skates, all right, but not quite good enough. Now, I left some really wonderful roller skates at Gimbel's. I'm sure Gimbel's have just what this good little girl wants. Very good.
Mr. Shellhammer, are you Mr. Shellhammer?
Gimbel's? Gimbel's? That's just what he did say. Gimbel's.
The sales lady said I should speak to you.
Gimbel's.
I just wanted to congratulate you and Macy's on this wonderful new stunt you're pulling.
Gimbel's.
Imagine a big outfit like Macy's putting the spirit of Christmas ahead of the commercial.
Gimbel's.
From now on, I'm going to be a regular Macy customer. All right, Mortimer, we're going.
Gimbel's!
And there's the toy department over there, Mr. Gailey.
You certainly know all about Macy's store, don't you, Susan?
Well, that's because my mother works here. But I still think it's silly bringing me here to see Santa Claus.
Well, I just feel that when you've talked to him, you might...
Okay, Mr. Gailey. I'm certainly willing to try.
Well, what a fine young lady, eh? And what's your name, little girl?
Susan Walker. What's yours?
Mine? Chris Kringle. I'm Santa Claus. Oh, you don't believe that, eh?
You see, my mother's Mrs. Walker.
Oh.
But I must say you're the best-looking Santa Claus I've ever seen.
Really?
Your beard, for instance. It doesn't have one of those things that goes over your ears.
That's because it's real. Just like I'm really Santa Claus. Now go ahead, pull it.
Oh, my goodness, it is real.
Yes, yeah. And now what would you like me to bring you for Christmas?
Nothing, thank you. Whatever I want, my mother will get. If it's sensible and doesn't cost too much.
Oh. That's quite right, Susan.
Oh, hello, Mother.
Hello, Mr. Gailey.
Hello. The explanation for all this is very simple. Your maid's mother sprained her ankle. She had to go home, so she asked me to bring Susie down to you. And as long as we were here, I figured we might as well say hello to Santa Claus.
He has real whiskers, Mother.
Susan, would you mind standing over there a minute?
If you want me to.
I shouldn't have brought Susie to see Santa. Is that it?
Now you're making me feel completely heartless.
I'm sorry.
Don't you see? I tell Susan that Santa Claus is a myth. And you show her a very convincing old man with real whiskers. Well, whom is she to believe?
Yeah, that's right, isn't it?
When Susan was a baby, her father and I were divorced. And ever since then, I've protected my child by teaching her realities. If you don't believe in fairy tales and fantasy, you can never be hurt or disillusioned.
We were talking about Susie, Mrs. Walker.
And I must ask you to let me raise her as I see fit. All right, dear. The store's going to close soon. We'll run along to my office.
Alfred said you wanted to see me, Mrs. Walker.
Oh, yes. Come in. I'd be grateful if you would please tell Susan that you're not really Santa Claus, that there actually is no such person.
Oh, but Mrs. Walker, not only is there such a person, but here I am to prove it.
No. You misunderstand. I want you to tell her the truth. Now, what's your real name?
Kris Kringle. And I always tell the truth. Susan, I'll bet you're in the first grade.
Second grade.
I mean your real name.
Well, that is my real name. My goodness, the second grade?
Very well. I have your employment card right here. I'll look it up on that.
That's a very cute dress you have on, Susan.
It's from Macy's. We get 10% off.
Oh.
So, you always tell the truth, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Look at your employment card.
Name, Kris Kringle. Address, Brooks Memorial Home, Great Neck, Long Island. You may call the home if you care to confirm that, Mrs. Walker. It's a home for elderly gentlemen.
Would you also like me to confirm this?
What's that?
Date of birth. As old as my tongue and a little bit older than my teeth. Place of birth. North Pole. Now, really.
Why, I believe you doubt me, Mrs. Walker.
And this tops everything. Next of kin.
Oh, that.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, and Vixen. I'm sorry to have to do this, Mr.
Kringle?
But the Santa Claus that we had 2 years ago is back in town, and I feel that we owe it to him to...
What, have I done something wrong?
No. It's just that we feel... Oh, excuse me. Hello?
This is Mr. Shellhammer, Mrs. Walker. Drop whatever you're doing. Mr. Macy wants to see us immediately.
Oh, I'll be right up. I'm afraid I'll have to be very abrupt with you. I have to see Mr. Macy. You'll be paid for the full week, Mr. Kringle, and I'll send your check to that address.
Come right in, Mrs. Walker. Mr. Shellhammer.
Thank you, Mr. Macy.
Now, about this new policy you two initiated. Macy's Santa Claus sending customers to Gimbel.
Well, I can explain everything, Mr. Macy.
You don't have to explain a thing. Just look at my desk. 42 telegrams and over 500 phone calls. Grateful parents expressing undying gratitude to Macy's department store.
Why, you don't say.
From now on, not only will our Santa Claus continue in this manner, but every salesperson in the entire store.
You mean that if we haven't got what the customer asks for, we're
to send him where he can get it. No high-pressuring and forcing a customer to take something he doesn't really want.
I think that's wonderful, Mr. Macy.
Why, we'll be known as the helpful store, the friendly store. The store that places public service ahead of profits. And consequently, we will make more profits than ever. As for you, Mrs. Walker and Mr. Shellhammer, you'll find a more practical expression of my gratitude in your Christmas envelope.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
And tell that wonderful Santa Claus I won't forget him either. As a matter of fact, I'll tell him myself in the morning.
Yes, indeed, Mr. Macy.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Macy.
And thank you again, sir. Oh, imagine a bonus.
Yes.
Well, what's the matter with you?
Mr. Shellhammer, I just fired him.
Who?
Santa Claus.
No, you couldn't have.
But I did. He's crazy, Mr. Shellhammer. He really thinks he is Santa Claus.
I don't care if he thinks he's the Easter Bunny. Find him.
Act 2 of Miracle on 34th Street will continue in a moment. Well, Libby, have you given Santa your Christmas list?
Yes, indeed, John. And number 1 on my list is a pair of Chinese pajamas with a 3/4 coat and little upstanding collar. Just like the ones Montatorin wears in Rogue's Regiment.
Perhaps you'd better have the wardrobe mistress of Universal International show Santa what you mean.
Well, I'm sure Dick Powell or Stephen McNally could give him a good description. They found Marta very glamorous in this modern story of the French Foreign Legion.
And what a villain Vincent Price is in Rogue's Regiment.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the edge of my seat through the whole picture. And you talk about a pair of pajamas.
Well, they were very special. Marta liked them so well, she had 4 pairs made for her personal wardrobe. And she was delighted when they told her she could lux them.
That's about the easiest care in the world. Especially now with the new tiny diamonds of Lux. Another triumph of the famous Lever Laboratories. These tiny diamonds are so much faster, they burst into suds the instant water touches them. And make wonderfully rich suds that last and last.
Don't colors look marvelous when they're luxed? So fresh and new. No wonder smart girls say they won't risk wrong washing methods.
Tests prove that with gentle care with Lux Flakes really makes a difference. Lux slips and nighties stayed new looking 3 times as long. And that's just like getting 3 pretty slips for the price of 1.
A really thoughtful Santa would put a box of Lux Flakes in every lingerie gift next Friday night.
Here's our producer, Mr. William Keeley.
Act 2 of Miracle on 34th Street, starring Maureen O'Hara as Doris, John Payne as Fred, and Edmund Gwen as Kris Kringle. It was a frantic few hours that Doris spent last night, rushing out to the Brooks Memorial Home in Long Island and assuring Kris Kringle that Macy's wanted him back as Santa Claus. Now Kris is again presiding over the crowded toy department, while in her office, Doris and Mr. Shellhammer...
Don't you understand, Mr. Shellhammer? That old man with the nice white whiskers insists that he is Santa Claus. Why, he's out of his mind. What if he should have a fit or something? Oh, no, I've got to tell Mr. Macy.
Yes, but maybe he's only a little crazy. Anyway, you can't be sure until he's examined. We'll send him to Mr. Sawyer.
Sawyer?
In personnel. He's paid to examine employees, isn't he? And now, by the way, what do you think of this?
What is it?
A full-page ad Macy's is running in tomorrow's newspapers.
Macy's is running it. But it's all about the other stores, Gimbel's and Saks.
I know. Mr. Macy's idea to help our customers find what they want. It's revolting, isn't it?
That Santa Claus certainly has started something. Oh, well, I'll get a hold of him in his lunch hour and send him up to Mr. Sawyer.
So I changed my clothes, Mr. Sawyer, and came right up.
Oh. Well, then that's your own beard, huh?
Oh, yes.
Interesting complex in back of there. Why do you carry a cane?
Always carry a cane, Mr. Sawyer. Well, that is when I wear street clothes. I carved this cane out of a runner from one of my old sleighs.
What's that?
With a fine, solid silver top.
Who was the first president of the United States?
Oh, give me a difficult one. Like who was vice president under James Monroe?
I'm conducting this examination.
The answer is Daniel D. Tompkins.
Oh.
Yes. You're a rather nervous man, aren't you, Mr. Sawyer? Tell me, do you get enough sleep?
My personal habits are no concern of yours. Now, what hand am I holding up?
Right hand.
How many fingers do you see?
3. Oh, dear. You bite your nails, too.
Stand up now. Feet together. Arms extended.
Muscular coordination tests? I've taken dozens of these tests. Mr. Sawyer, are you happy at home?
What? That will be all, Mr. Kringle. The examination is over.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it may interest you to know I've been happily married for 22 years. Very happily married.
Delighted to hear it. Goodbye, Mr. Sawyer.
Miss Paul.
Yes, sir.
Get Mrs. Walker on the phone.
Yes, sir. But your wife, Mr. Sawyer, she's called 4 times already.
Well, you tell my big fat wife to shut up and mind her own business.
Here's Mrs. Walker, sir.
All right. Hello.
Oh, I was just going to call you, Mr. Sawyer.
Oh?
There's a Dr. Pierce stopping by this afternoon at 3.
Who's Dr. Pierce?
He's the physician at the Brooks home. I thought we might discuss Mr. Kringle's case with him.
Oh, there's hardly any point in discussing it, Mrs. Walker. Obviously, the old man should be discharged. So, Dr. Pierce, Kringle should be dismissed immediately and sent to a mental institution.
Oh, now, just a minute, Mr. Sawyer.
He's deluded, saying that he's Santa Claus.
It's a delusion for good. I found he only wants to be friendly and helpful.
His whole manner suggests aggressiveness. Look at the way he carries that cane. Mrs. Walker, naturally, I can't discharge that loony, so when he exhibits his maniacal tendencies, please realize the responsibility is completely yours.
Well, I'm right back where I started.
Mrs. Walker, I assure you, Kris Kringle has no maniacal tendency.
But if there's the slightest possibility of us causing any trouble...
What trouble?
All that needs happen is a policeman ask his name. Kris Kringle, clang, clang, and Macy's Santa Claus lands up in the psychopathic ward.
Well, you can prevent that very simply. Now, there must be someone here at the store who could rent him a room. Then they could both come to work together. Just as soon he avoided that long train ride to Long Island, anyway.
You mean sort of take custody of him?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Mr. Kringle would agree to that?
Oh, I'm sure he'll agree.
Well, in that case, Now, let me see. Who do I know who could rent him a room?
I'm glad you're going to have dinner with us, Mr. Kringle.
Oh, thank you, Susan.
I'm also very glad you're going to live next door with Mr. Gailey.
Oh, why?
Because you're nice to talk to.
Oh, I say, what a fine young man that Mr. Gailey is, eh? Just think, allowing me to share his apartment, a mere stranger.
He did it because Mother hinted to him.
Oh, well, anyway, I'm very grateful.
Shall I tell you what I did in school today?
By all means. Any games?
Yes. And a very silly game, too.
Oh?
They played zoo, and each child was supposed to be an animal.
Oh, but Susan, they were just pretending.
But that's what makes the game so silly.
Oh. Well, of course, in order to play games, you need imagination.
Oh, that's when you see things, but they're not really there, huh?
Oh, yes. Yes, but, you know, to me, imagination is a place all by itself. Now, you've heard of the French nation, and the British nation.
Yes?
Well, this is the imagination. A very interesting place, too. Now, how would you like to be able to make snowballs in summertime, eh?
What?
Or be the Statue of Liberty in the morning, and in the afternoon, fly south with a flock of geese?
Well, I'm quite sure I'd like it, but...
Oh, it's very simple. Very. Well, anyway, look here. The next time they play zoo, you can be a monkey.
But I don't know how to be a monkey.
Don't you? Oh, I'll show you. Now, first, you bend over a little, like this, see? Now, let your arms hang loose, see?
Like this?
Yeah, that's fine, fine. Now, put your hand over here and start scratching, see? Yeah. That's it. That's it. That's excellent, Susan. That's as fine a bit of scratching as I've ever seen. Yeah. Now you start chattering.
Chattering?
Yes, now listen. See? And keep scratching. Now then, look here. We'll do it together, see? Chatter and scratch and chatter, see? That's fine, Susan. Fine. You're doing beautifully. Beautifully, yes. Susan, are you still awake?
Uh-huh.
I've just come in to say good night, Susan, that's all. Now, look here, about Christmas. There must be something you'd like for Christmas.
Well, I've certainly thought about something, Mr. Kringle.
You have? Well, what is it, eh? Tell me.
It's right here on the night table, see?
Oh?
I tore this page out of a magazine. It's a picture of a house.
Oh, that's what you want, is it? A doll's house. Colonial architecture.
Oh, not a doll's house, a real house.
A real house?
Yes. And if you're really Santa Claus, you can get it for me.
Now, wait a minute, Susie. What could you possibly do with a big house?
Live in it with my mother. And a backyard with a big tree to put a swing on, and a garden, and a... Oh, well, why even discuss it?
Susie, could I keep this picture? Just in case?
I guess so.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. Well, Mr. Gailey's waiting for me. Good night, monkey.
Good night, Mr. Kringle.
Take whichever bed you want, Mr. Kringle.
You're very kind, really. Tell me, Mr. Gailey, what is it you just do for a living, huh?
Oh, I'm a lawyer. Haslip, Sherman, and Mackenzie.
Oh. And you like living here in the city?
Well, it's convenient. But someday I'd like to get a place on Long Island.
Huh.
Not a big house, just one of those junior partner deals around Manhasset.
Oh, one of those little colonial houses, eh?
Yeah. A little colonial house would be swell.
Good, yes. You're quite fond of Mrs. Walker, aren't you?
A lot of good it does me. She lives in a cast iron shell that's just a little difficult to penetrate.
Oh. Well, you must try a little harder, Mr. Gailey. You know, Mrs. Walker and that child are a couple of lost souls. And it's up to us to help them, see?
No?
Yeah, Oh, well, shall I turn out the light?
No. I'm not going to be cheated out of this. You know, all my life I've wondered about it, and now I'm going to find out. Tell me, does Santa Claus sleep with his whiskers outside or inside the cover?
Oh, outside, of course. Outside, by all means. The cold air makes them grow.
Oh, thank you very much.
Come in, Mrs. Walker. Come in.
Thank you, Mr. Macy. I've just heard something very exciting.
You have? Well, let me tell you something very exciting. Our policy of being kind to customers has tripled our sales. Now, what do you think of that?
That's wonderful, Mr. Macy. And Gimbals thinks it's wonderful, too.
Gimbals?
Gimbals are adopting the same policy.
Well, is that so?
And it gives me an idea. As long as Gimbals are doing the same thing, why not some pictures for the newspapers?
Pictures?
Yes. You and Mr. Gimble shaking hands.
Shaking hands? R.H. Macy and Gimble?
Well, yes.
Yes, why not? With Santa Claus. It's a great idea, Mrs. Walker. Macy and Gimble shaking hands. Oh, that's enough pictures, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, Mr. Gimble?
Come on, R.H. Now we'll go over to my store and get some really good pictures.
Oh, just a minute. I have something here for Santa Claus. Here you are, Mr. Kringle. A check in appreciation of all you've done.
Mr. Macy, why, that's most kind of you.
I didn't think you were that generous, R.H. That's quite a check. What are you going to do with it, Mr. Kringle?
Well, I have a friend, a Dr. Pierce. He needs a new X-ray machine.
You buy the machine through the store. 10% discount.
Nonsense. Come over to Gimble's. We'll furnish it at cost.
Oh, keep it up, gentlemen. Keep it up. At this rate, my friend will have a whole new hospital.
How did the pictures turn out, Mr. Kringle?
Oh, fine, Alfred, fine. How about a game of checkers during lunch, eh?
Oh, not today, Chris. I don't feel so good.
Oh? What's the matter, Alfred?
Oh, nothing much. You remember I was telling you how I like to play Santa Claus over at the Y and give out packages to the kids?
Yeah?
Well, I was telling Mr. Sawyer about it, and he says that's very bad. That psychologically it's all wrong.
Wrong? To be nice to children?
Well, he says guys who play Santa Claus do it because when they was young they must have done something bad. Now they do something they think is good to make up for it, see? It's what he calls a guilt complex.
Alfred, what else has he found wrong with you?
Oh, nothing much. Just that I hate my father. I didn't know it, but he says I do.
Excuse me.
Hey, ain't you going to have lunch?
Later. Right now, I have an appointment with Mr. Sawyer.
What do you mean, breaking into my office like this?
Are you a licensed psychiatrist?
What business is it of yours?
I have great respect for psychiatry and great contempt for meddling amateurs who go around practicing it.
Oh, shut up.
You ought to be horsewhipped. Taking a boy like Alfred and filling him up with complexes and phobias...
I think I'm better equipped to judge that than you.
Just because Alfred wants to be kind to children, you tell him he has a guilt complex.
Yes. Having the same delusion you couldn't possibly understand.
Oh.
And don't you wave that cane at me.
Either you stop analyzing Alfred, or I'll go straight to Mr. Macy and tell him what a contemptible fraud you are.
Get out of here. Get out of here before I have you thrown out.
There's only one way to handle a man like you. Maybe this'll knock some sense into you.
Oh, help. Oh, my head. My head. Oh.
Good day, Mr. Sawyer.
Miss Prawn, get me the police. Get me Mrs. Walker. Get me the psychopathic ward in Bellevue Hospital.
You can see Mr. Kringle now, Mr. Gailey.
Thank you, nurse. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Fred.
Chris, I've been speaking to the doctors. They said they've given you some tests.
Oh, yes. Same old tests.
Except this time you failed to pass them. Chris, you deliberately failed. Why?
Why? Well, because I had great hopes, Fred. I had a feeling Mrs. Walker was beginning to believe in me, and now I discover she was only humoring me all the time.
But this wasn't Doris's idea at all. Mr. Sawyer had you sent up here before she even knew about it.
But why didn't she come to me and explain things?
Because she didn't want to hurt you.
Oh, Well, it's not just Mrs. Walker. Well, now, take Mr. Sawyer. He's contemptible, dishonest, deceitful. Yet he's out there and I'm in here. Well, if that's normal, I don't want it.
But you can't just think of yourself, Chris. What happens to you matters to a lot of other people. People like me who believe in what you stand for, and people like Susie, who are just beginning to. Chris, you're letting us down.
Well, Fred, maybe you're right. Well, of course you're right. I ought to be ashamed of myself. Let's get out of here.
Now, wait a minute. You flunked your mental examination, but good.
Oh, yes, so I did. Oh. Well, anyway, you're a lawyer. You fix it.
Hey, look, I can't just...
Now, I won't let you down, and you won't let me down.
Chris, now take it easy. Look, there'll have to be a hearing. If you're going to be committed, it has to be before a judge.
Well,
if I can do anything at all, it'll have to be in courtroom. Now, sit tight, Chris. I'll get an idea. I have to get an idea.
You sent for me, Mr. Macy?
I certainly did, Mr. Sawyer. I brought my family to the toy department to see our Santa Claus, and our Santa Claus isn't there. He's in Bellevue.
Yes, Mr. Macy.
Because he's a lunatic.
Yes, sir, a lunatic.
Lunatic, my foot. Now, you listen to me, Sawyer. You get that case dropped right away, or you'll have another lump to match the one he gave you.
But it's out of my hands. Mr. Kringle goes to court in the morning.
Well, just see that he's back in the toy department by afternoon. Now, get out of here.
Oh, Mr. Gailey. Mr. Gailey.
Yes?
I've been looking all over for you. I'm Mr. Sawyer.
Oh, so you're Sawyer?
Yes. I was just speaking to the court clerk, and he said you represent Mr. Kringle. Well, I represent Mr. Macy.
Oh, then I'll see you in court.
Oh, no. That's what I wanted to speak to you about. Now, Mr. Macy would like to drop the whole case right now. You see, we're most anxious to avoid any publicity.
No publicity, huh? Well, that's very interesting.
Oh, then you'll cooperate?
You know something, Sawyer? You've just given me the idea I've been searching for.
Oh, good.
If I'm going to win this case, I'm going to have public opinion and plenty of it. And publicity's just the way to do it. Thanks. And so long, Mr. Sawyer.
Mr. Gailey? But Mr. Gailey!
Look at these newspapers, Chris. Here. Evening Dispatch. Doctors doubt sanity of Santa who launched goodwill campaign.
Oh, my.
Daily Bulletin. Macy's Santa Claus to have lunacy hearing.
Oh. What's this one?
The New York Express.
Is Kris Kringle crazy? Court case coming. Kiddies cry calamity.
You've driven the United Nations clear back to page 5. Well, get a good night's sleep, Chris. We go before Judge Harper at 10 tomorrow morning.
We pause now for station identification. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Our stars will return with Act 3 of Miracle on 34th Street in a moment. When a new player signs a contract with 20th Century Fox, she soon gets well acquainted with Miss Helena Sorrell, head dramatic coach. Helena, do you like to watch your pupils perform in a picture?
Oh, of course, John, because I take a personal interest in them. I'm especially proud of Betty Grable in her new picture, When My Baby Smiles at Me.
Betty's become a really fine dramatic actress.
She certainly has.
She and Dan Daly are magnificent as a couple of vaudeville hoofers.
And Betty's costumes in When My Baby Smiles at Me gave me a thrill. And I was amazed how many things the wardrobe department washed with Lux Flakes. It reminded me of my theatrical days when I was on the road and lived in a couple of trunks.
A box of Lux Flakes in each?
That's absolutely true, John. I was never without it, in my hotel or at the theater.
Well, then you've probably discovered that the new tiny diamonds of Lux are more wonderful than ever. They're so much faster and richer. Do more for you, too. They remove soil which other types of suds can't. Leave things cleaner, fresher.
And Lux Flakes keep colors lovely.
You're right there. That's why it's foolish to risk wrong washing methods that may fade colors. Actual tests show
that with gentle Lux Flakes care, colors stay lovely up to 3 times as long.
That's a good tip for girls who get nice blouses and sweaters for Christmas.
Right you are. And thank you for coming tonight, Helena Sorrell. We return you now to William Keighley.
The curtain rises on the third act of Miracle on 34th Street, starring Maureen O'Hara as Doris, John Payne as Fred, and Edmund Gwen as Chris. For a few weeks, a jolly elderly gentleman named Kris Kringle has been working minor miracles as Macy's Santa Claus. But now his sanity has been seriously questioned. And in a crowded courtroom, Judge Harper listens patiently as the assistant district attorney summons Chris to the witness stand.
Now, this is not a trial, Mr. Kringle. It's just a hearing, so you don't have to answer any questions. Now then, where do you live, please?
Well, it seems to me that's what this hearing will decide, won't it?
Mr. Kringle, do you believe that you are Santa Claus?
Of course I do.
That's all, Your Honor. The state rests its case.
Well, Mr. Gailey? Your Honor, Mr. Mara contends my client is not sane because he believes he is Santa Claus.
An entirely logical conclusion.
Anyone who thinks he's Santa Claus is crazy.
Your Honor, you believe yourself to be Judge Harper. Yet no one questions your sanity because you are Judge Harper, do they?
Mr. Kringle is the subject of this sanity hearing, not I.
Well, Your Honor, I intend to prove that Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus.
Mr. Mara, I thought you said this was a cut-and-dried sanity hearing. Well, I thought it was, Your Honor.
In view of Mr. Gailey's statement, I'll have to review the entire background of this case. Court's adjourned till tomorrow morning.
Hello, Doris. I'm sorry I'm late, but get ready. We're really going to celebrate tonight.
What are we celebrating?
Well, didn't you read the papers? Santa's mouthpiece throws bombshell in New York Supreme Court.
Oh, Fred, you're not really serious about this. You can't possibly prove that Kris Kringle is Santa Claus.
Well, you saw Mr. Macy and Mr. Gimble shake hands. That wasn't possible either.
What does your firm have to say about it? Hayslip and Mackenzie and the rest of them.
That I've jeopardized their prestige, and either I drop this impossible case or they'll drop me.
You see?
So I beat them to it. I quit.
Fred, you threw away a career because of a sentimental whim?
Well, I'll open my own office.
And what kind of clients will you get?
Oh, probably a lot of people like Chris who are being pushed around. That's the only fun in law anyway. Doris, look. Don't you have any faith in me at all?
No, it's not a question of faith. It's just common sense.
But faith is believing in things when common sense tells you not to. It's not just Chris that's on trial. It's everything he stands for. Human kindness and love and dignity.
Fred, listen. We've seen a lot of each other the last couple of weeks. I've become fond of you. We've talked about some wonderful plans, haven't we? And then you do this. Go on an idealistic binge, throw away your security, and expect me to be happy about it.
And I expect too much. Is that it? Well, that's then, I guess. Good night, Doris.
Hello. Yes, this is Mr. Mara. Well, can't it wait till tomorrow? I'm eating dinner. Who's been subpoenaed? Well, how do you think I feel about it? I'll see you tomorrow.
Who's that, dear?
R.H. Macy's been subpoenaed.
Oh, my.
Those reporters. They make me look like a sadistic monster who likes nothing better than to drown pussycats and tear wings off butterflies.
Quiet, dear. Tommy's still awake.
Oh, yeah.
It'd just break his heart if he knew what his daddy is doing.
I'm doing my job as assistant district attorney.
Well, I'm not so sure, but that I agree with them. Mr. Kringle looks like a very nice old man, and I don't see why you have to keep persecuting him.
I'm not persecuting him. I'm prosecuting him. I like the old man, too, but there's nothing I can do about it.
You know something, Thomas? Sometimes I wish I'd married a butcher or a plumber.
Well, if I lose this case, it's very possible you'll get your wish. R.H. Macy, I wonder what he's going to pull tomorrow.
Proceed with the witness, Mr. Gailey.
Now then, Mr. Macy, if you recognize the defendant, please tell us who he is.
Why, Kris Kringle, of course.
Do you believe him to be of sound mind?
Sound mind? I wish I had a dozen like him.
Mr. Macy, you are under oath. Do you believe that man is Santa Claus?
Well, now, that's a rather delicate...
Just think of those headlines tomorrow. Macy admits his Santa Claus is fraud.
You keep out of this, Gimble.
What did you say?
Nothing, Mr. Barr. Nothing.
Well, I wish you would. Is that man Santa Claus?
Yes, in my opinion, he most certainly is.
Your Honor, there is no such person as Santa Claus, and everybody knows it.
Can you prove there isn't any?
I won't even try. I'll not waste the court's time with such childish nonsense. Your Honor, the prosecution requests an immediate ruling from this court. Is there or is there not a Santa Claus?
Well, now, the court will take a short recess to consider the question.
Hello, Henry.
Why, Charlie, what are you doing here?
Got an old friend visit you in your chambers? And if you ask me, you never needed a friend like you do now.
This Kringle case? Well, I certainly don't see what they're making such a fuss about.
Henry, that's Santa Claus you've got out there. On trial for lunacy. This case is dynamite. And you're coming up for re-election soon.
Charlie, you know what happened last night? Martha brought the grandchildren over. They wouldn't kiss Grandpa. They wouldn't even talk to me.
Well, you see what I mean? If you rule there is no Santa Claus, you better start looking for that chicken farm right now.
I'm a responsible judge. How can I seriously rule that there is a Santa Claus?
Because of what happens if you don't. The kids read about it and they don't hang up their stockings. Now what happens to all the toys that are supposed to be in those stockings? Nobody buys them. The toy manufacturers have to lay off employees. By now you've got the AFL and the CIO against you. Yes, and they're going to say it with votes, see? Oh, and the department stores are going to love you, too. Yes, sir, Henry. And what about the Salvation Army? They got a Santa Claus on every street corner. They take in a lot of money to help the poor. But go ahead, Henry. You go in there and rule there isn't any Santa Claus. But if you do, you can count on getting just 2 votes, your own and that district attorney's out there.
1 vote, Charlie. He's a Republican. Oh, well, let's get this over with. The question of Santa Claus seems to be largely a matter of opinion. The tradition of American justice demands a broad and unprejudiced view of such a controversial matter.
But, Your Honor...
This court, therefore, intends to keep its mind open. We shall ask for evidence on either side.
But the burden of proof clearly rests with my opponent. Can he produce any evidence to support his views?
If Your Honor please, I can. Will Thomas Mara please take the stand?
Who, me?
No. Thomas Mara, Jr. I believe he and his mother are both in court today.
Hi, Papa.
Hi. Tommy, do you believe in Santa Claus?
I sure do. Gosh, he gave me a brand new sled last year.
Now, what does Santa Claus look like, Tommy?
Well, there he is, sitting right over there.
Your Honor, I protest. Overruled.
Tell me, Tommy, why are you so sure there's a Santa Claus?
Because my papa told me so, didn't you, Papa?
Thank you, Tommy. You can go back to your mother now.
See you later, Papa.
You certainly will.
Your Honor.
Don't forget, Santa Claus, this year I want a football helmet.
Don't worry, Tommy. You will get it. Mr. Kringle, if you don't mind.
I'm sorry, sir.
Your Honor, the state of New York concedes the existence of a Santa Claus. But in so conceding, we demand that Mr. Gailey stop representing and presenting personal opinion as evidence. I insist he submit authoritative proof that Mr. Kringle here is the one and only Santa Claus.
Well, Mr. Gailey, are you prepared to show that Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus on the basis of unprejudiced authority?
Well, sir, no, not now. I need a little time.
Why not now?
Tomorrow, Your Honor.
Very well. Court's adjourned till tomorrow morning.
Whew. Oh, brother.
Now come, Susan, dear, finish your supper.
But I can't, Mother. Oh,
all those things they're saying in the newspapers about Mr. Kringle and Mr. Gailey?
They're having this trial because he says he's Santa Claus.
He's so kind and nice and jolly. He's not like anyone else I know. He must be Santa.
You know something? I think perhaps you're right.
Is Mr. Kringle sad now, Mother?
I'm afraid he must be.
Then I'll write him a letter. Maybe that'll make him feel better. I'll cheer him up.
Oh, postman.
Yeah, lady?
Would you mind taking this letter?
Oh, sure, lady. We're going straight down to the post office now. Okay, Louie, take it away. Well, what do you know, Louie? Another letter for Santa Claus. Hey, here's a new one. Instead of the North Pole, this kid's got it addressed to Chris Kringle, New York County Courthouse.
Well, the kid's right.
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure. They got him on trial down there. He claims he's Santa Claus, and the DA claims he's nuts.
Hey, I got an idea.
Huh?
How many Santa Claus letters we got down there in the dead letter office?
Oh, who knows? Must be 50,000 bags and bags all over the joint. You mean?
But, Frankie, why not? Wouldn't it be nice to get rid of them all? Wouldn't it?
Boy, oh, boy. Look, Louie, as soon as we get to the post office, we go and see the supervisor. You know something? I bet we both get promoted.
And since the defense has been unable to submit one shred of proof that Kris Kringle is the one and only Santa Claus, and since tonight is Christmas Eve, I ask Your Honor that this hearing be terminated without further delay.
I protest. I do have evidence.
5 minutes ago, you said you didn't.
During Mr. Mara's oration, the bailiff handed my client the evidence I refer to.
What evidence?
This letter, Your Honor.
Oh, yes, Mr. Kringle?
It's from Susan Walker. She believes in me. Oh, this letter means more to me than anything in the world.
That letter, Your Honor, was delivered by the United States Post Office, an official agency of the federal government. The Post Office Department was one of the largest business concerns in the world. Last year did a gross volume of over $1 billion, and
Your
this year...
Honor, I'm sure we're all gratified that the post office is getting along so well. But what bearing has it on the sanity of that man?
My point is that the Post Office Department is a model of efficiency. Furthermore, the laws of this country make it a criminal offense to willfully misdirect mail or intentionally deliver it to the wrong party.
The state of New York is second to none in its admiration of the Post Office Department. We're very happy to concede Mr. Gailey's...
For the record, Mr. Mara?
For the record. Anything to get on with this case.
Thank you. Your Honor, that letter just received by Mr. Kringle is positive proof that a competent...
One letter is hardly positive proof.
I have further exhibits, Your Honor, but I hesitate to produce them.
Come, Mr. Gailey. Put them here on my desk.
But, Your Honor, I don't...
said put them on my desk. All right, boys, bring them in.
Your Honor, what is this?
Empty those mail sacks on Judge Harper's desk. Well, but bring them all in or be fined for contempt of court. No, just a second here.
We'll do it, Your Honor, through rain, through sleet, through courtrooms, anything. We deliver.
Mr. Gailey.
Your Honor, every one of those letters and every one of those mail sacks is addressed to Santa Claus. The post office is to deliver them. Therefore, the Post Office Department recognizes Kris Kringle to be the one and only Santa Claus.
Since the United States government declares this man to be Santa Claus, this court will not dispute it. Case dismissed. And for heaven's sake, get this mail out of my courtroom.
So as soon as I got out of court, I came straight to Macy's to see you, Doris.
Oh, Chris, I'm so glad you won.
Well, we're having a big Christmas party at the Brooks home tomorrow morning. I'd like so much to see you and Susan there.
We'll be there, Chris. Oh, Chris, couldn't you come home now and have dinner with us?
Now? Tonight? Me? My goodness, Doris, it's Christmas Eve. Alfred, look who came all the way out here to the home just for our Christmas party.
Chris, it's Mr. Macy.
Mr. Gimble, too. Oh, excuse me, Alfred. Mrs. Walker and Susan have to leave now, and I want to see them before they go, so forgive me, will you?
But, Susie, darling, you got so many presents.
Not the one I wanted. Not the one Mr. Kringle was going to get for me.
Well, what was it?
Doesn't matter. I knew I wouldn't get it, but I thought he'd at least tell me why.
Susie. I'm sorry, Susie. I tried my best, but...
You couldn't get it because you're not Santa Claus.
Susan.
Just a nice old man like Mother said.
But I was wrong when I told you that. You must believe in Mr. Kringle and keep right on doing it. You must have faith in him.
But that doesn't make sense, Mother.
Faith is believing in things when common sense tells you not to.
What?
I mean, just because things don't turn out the way you want them to the first time, you've still got to believe in people. I found that...
Hello, Doris.
Fred.
Mr. Gailey, Mr. Gailey.
Merry Christmas, Susie.
Gosh. You'll just get here and we're ready to leave.
Oh, I've been here.
Oh.
And if you're ready to leave, I'll drive you home. Before you go, here's a map I've made for you. You'll miss a lot of traffic. About 4 miles south, you will see Ashley Avenue. Now, that's the street you want. Ashley Avenue. Thanks, Chris. And Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Fred. And to you, my dear. And to you, Susie.
I believe Mr. Kringle. I do. Silly, I suppose. But I do.
I don't understand it, Fred. The map Chris gave definitely says Ashley Avenue. We've been on Ashley Avenue now for...
Stop the car, please.
Susie, what is it, darling? What's the matter?
There it is. The house.
Susie!
What in the world?
She's running into that house.
Well, at least there's no one home. It's brand new. It's just been built.
Yeah, for sale, it says. For sale.
What on earth is that child up to?
Susie! Hey, Susie!
Here I am. Upstairs.
Now, come right down. You know you shouldn't run around in other people's houses. That's strange.
I'll say.
No. I mean this house. I've seen this house somewhere. I know I have. Maybe in a magazine or...
Mother, it's our house. It's the one I asked him for, Mr. Kringle.
Mr. Kringle?
I know it is. Oh, you were right, Mommy. You were right.
Susie.
Mommy told me that if things didn't turn out just the way you wanted them at first, you've still got to believe. And I kept believing. And you were right, Mommy. Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus.
Now where are you going?
In back to see if there's a swing. There is one. Oh, there is one.
You told her that? About believing?
Well, you told me, Fred.
A sign outside. For sale, huh? Well, we can't let her down, can we?
I never really doubted you. It was just my silly common sense.
It even makes sense to believe in me now. I must be a pretty good lawyer. I take a little old man and legally prove to the world that he's Santa Claus. Now, you know that couldn't be.
Fred!
What's the matter?
There. In the corner. By the fireplace.
Oh, no. No.
It can't be. It couldn't.
A cane. Chris's cane. Well, there couldn't be two canes like this anywhere in the world.
Silver handle and all.
Hey, you know something? Maybe I didn't do such a wonderful thing after all.
Before our stars return for their curtain calls, Libby Collins wants to tell you about the wonderful way to decorate your Christmas tree, as we promised at the opening of the show.
You can give your tree that fresh from the woods look by covering it with real-looking snow you make yourself from a box of Lux Flakes.
So many people have asked for the Lux recipe for Christmas snow that we gave last week. We'll repeat it tonight. Listen carefully.
Take a large box of Lux Flakes. Gradually add 2 cups of lukewarm water and beat with an egg beater until it has the consistency of thick whipped cream. Then, with your fingers, spread the mixture over the branches of your tree. And that's all.
This snowy covering dries quickly, it won't melt, and lasts as long as the tree. Ask your dealer for a copy of this Christmas snow recipe.
I don't know of any other decoration that costs so little, yet does so much for your tree. It looks lovely used just with tree lights, Or you can add your usual ornaments if you prefer.
Try it on your mantel decorations and table arrangements, too. It gives them a very professional look.
And makes the whole house look more Christmassy. Now, I'll repeat that recipe. Take a large box of Lux Flakes. Gradually add about 2 cups of lukewarm water and beat with an egg beater. While moist, spread the mixture along the branches. If you want extra glitter, shake on some shiny artificial snow before the mixture dries. Let the children help. They'll love doing it and love the snowy tree.
Back now to our producer, William Keeley.
Mr. Kringle's reindeer are waiting on the roof, but we've asked him to pause a moment before he leaves and come back to the footlights with Maureen O'Hara and John Payne. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a real thrill to everyone in Hollywood when Edmund Gwenn topped his entire 53 years as an actor with his great performance as Kris Kringle.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bill. Everyone connected with Miracle on 34th Street, from George Seaton, the author-director, to the prop man, helped me. They all believed in Santa Claus.
How could we help it?
I suppose you've got a strenuous time ahead, Chris.
Yeah?
Covering the entire world in one night.
John, if everyone believed in Santa Claus, peace would break out all over the world in 30 seconds.
I hope you won't be too busy to stop at my house. I'll have my stockings hung up.
Oh, well, I'll stop in, Maureen, but seems rather futile.
Why, Chris?
Well, I couldn't possibly fill her stocking as well as she does.
I see what you mean.
Bill, after that, I think you'd better tell us all about next week's play.
Next week, Maureen, a play straight from your native land. It's the 20th Century Fox picture, The Luck of the Irish. And the stars? Well, we have a superb cast. There's Dana Andrews, Ann Baxter, and Cecil Calloway. This is a delightful romance, presided over by a most mysterious leprechaun in the person of Cecil Calloway. I know you'll all enjoy it.
We'll be looking forward to it, Bill. And good night.
Good night.
Good night. Can I give anybody a lift in my sleigh?
Good night and a Merry, Merry Christmas. Before we meet again in this theater, the most joyful day in the year will have come and gone. There are, in our time, as in every time, a few foolish men who deride the spirit of Christmas. But in every country and in every time, they are overwhelmed by those who find in it the hope and happiness of the future, by those of us who believe in our hearts that there can be peace on this earth and goodwill among all men. On behalf of Lever Brothers Company and of us in the Lux Radio Theater, may I wish all of you the happiest of holidays. And we invite you all to join us again next Monday evening when the Lux Radio Theater presents Dana Andrews, Ann Baxter, and Cecil Calloway in The Luck of the Irish. This is William Keeley saying good night and Merry Christmas.
Maureen O'Hara appeared through the courtesy of 20th Century Fox, producers of The Snake Pit, starring Olivia de Havilland and Mark Stevens. Edmund Gwenn appeared by arrangement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of the all-star Technicolor musical Words and Music, based on the lives and music of Rodgers and Hart. John Payne will soon be seen in the Paramount picture El Paso. Be sure to listen next Monday night to the Lux Radio Theater presentation of The Luck of the Irish, starring Dana Andrews, Ann Baxter, and Cecil Calloway. Stay tuned for My Friend Irma, which follows over these same stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
So we take you now to Duffy's Tavern, starring Archie himself, Ed Gardner. about to hear is brought to you with a wish. A wish from Bristol Myers that your Christmas may be merry and that the new year for all of us be a happy and a peaceful one.
Hello, Duffy, Tavern. Where do you late meet to eat Archie the manager speaking? Duffy ain't here. Hello, Duffy. Huh? Look, please don't give me that Merry Christmas stuff. I sound like I got up on the wrong side of the floor this morning? Look, Duffy, I had one eggnog. Just happened that I hit some bad nutmeg. Huh? Well, if you want to know, I'm a little sore about your gratuity for Christmas. That lousy Christmas card. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. P.S. After you read this, get back to work. Fine sentiment this time of the year. Well, after 9 years, I thought maybe I might get some little present. Some little luxury, some little thing I wouldn't think of getting for myself. Like money. Huh? Look, Duffy, someday you're going to leave this vale of tears. You're going to leave it with your pockets bulging with bills, but I'm warning you. Where you're going, you're going to find that paper money ain't going to last long. I leave you with that thought for today. Christmas. 7 days a week, 18 hours a day. I work my grindstone to the nose. What do I get? Nothing but gratitude. And very little of that.
Merry Christmas, Miss Archie.
What's so merry about it, Eddie? Starvation wages, no dough to buy nothing.
You got a little dough.
Yeah, but how far will it take me with the present prices of economics? The landlady sends me a notice. From the first of the year on, your apartment will be $9 a month. $9 for 4 lousy rooms.
Does that include bath?
Who knows? Never get to see the place the way I have to work around here, but does Duffy care?
Well, don't let it get you, Miss Archie. See, this is the time of the year to forget your trouble.
Yeah.
Christmas is a time when you should be thinking about helping other people out.
Helping other people out, huh? When Gorilla Hogan got drunk and nasty here last night and started picking on me, did you help me out?
I couldn't. See, I was back in the kitchen cooking.
What takes a half an hour to cook?
With Gorilla Hogan drunk and nasty, a couple of 3-minute eggs.
That's what I'm talking about. When I'm in a fight and I need help, you disappear.
Yeah, but you always bragging about what a wonderful fighter you are.
You certainly picked the funniest times to start believing me. Yeah, give me that Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, boys.
Merry Christmas, Miss Duff.
Archie, I said Merry Christmas.
Are you kidding? What have I got to be merry about working for that cheapskate old man of yours?
Archie, you just don't know Papa. He really isn't cheap.
No, that's right. Once, in an outburst of generosity, he gave away his toenail clippings. What about the time he took your old lady on their honeymoon? Where did they go?
Niagara Falls.
That's what he told everybody, Niagara Falls. But what he really did, they stayed home and your old man let the water run in the bathtub while he showed your mother a box of shredded wheat. Tell me how cheap the guy is. Just a minute. Hello? Oh, just a second. It's your girlfriend, Vera Fogarty.
Oh, thanks. Hello, Vera. How did you do with Santa Claus? Okay, but no presents, huh? Well, you just can't have everything, Vera. What's on your mind? A dance? Where? At the Y? M or W? The YW, huh? Well, okay, Vera, I'll go. But this time you've got to lead. All right. Okay, I'll meet you at Schimmelbacher's. Well, so long, everybody. I got a heavy date. What are you going to do tonight, Archie?
Me? I think I'll just spend a quiet evening standing around disappointing pickpockets.
Well, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Arch. A Merry Christmas to you.
Oh, hello, Finnegan.
Ain't you going to wish me a Merry Christmas?
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Did you hang up your stocking?
Oh, no, Arch. I hung up my stocking last year, and it was a bum idea.
A bum idea?
Yeah, the blood kept rushing to me head.
Finnegan, what I meant was, did you get any presents for Christmas?
Oh, dear, few things, Arch. My mother gave me some building blocks, monogrammed, of course. And my sister gave me a bottle of bubble bath.
Bubble bath?
Yeah, and is that stuff a fake?
What do you mean a fake?
I sat in a tub and took 4 drinks of it, and I couldn't even blow a single bubble. Well, I just stopped in to say hello. I gotta run along, Arch.
You gotta run along? Where you going?
I'm going over to sing Christmas carols.
Oh, yeah? Where?
Atwater McGurk's. You going over, Arch?
No, I'm not.
How come?
Didn't invite me.
Oh. Well, I'll be seeing you, Arch.
Finnegan, you mean you ain't gonna spend Christmas with Maureen like you usually do?
Well, Arch, I thought you was going to McGurk's too, so I accepted. Hey, you ain't sure, are you?
No. Why should I be sore? Go ahead. Have a good time.
Well, Merry Christmas, Arch.
Merry Christmas, Clifton. Fine Christmas. No bonus. Your friends walk out on you. The next guy that says Merry Christmas to me, I'm going to punch him right in the nose. Now, what's the use? Eddie.
Yeah?
Eddie, turn on the radio, will you? Maybe it'll snap me out of this mood.
Okay.
Eddie, that Christmas music. Take it off, will you? Give me something with some pep in it.
Okay, I'll try another station.
Eddie, please, I asked you, didn't I?
Well, Miss Archie, I don't think there's anything on the radio but Christmas music.
Well, keep pushing them buttons. There must be something else on the air. Eddie, what are you trying to do? Drive me nuts?
Look bad. I'm running out of buttons.
Okay, forget about it. Well, I think we better lock up the place. It's getting late.
Okay. I'll go clean up the kitchen.
All right, do that. This Christmas music. I ain't got enough trouble at this time of the year. They got to put on music that makes them even sadder.
Hello there, Archie.
Huh? Hey, how did you get in here?
Walked in.
That's funny. I thought I just locked the door. We was closing up.
Oh, and maybe I'd better leave.
Listen, you said Archie. How did you know my name?
Well, I've heard about you.
Oh, well, I'm pretty well known around here. Will you have a little drink, bud?
No, I don't think so.
Go ahead, it's on the house.
On the house?
Sure, it's Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, huh?
Well, anyway, it's a day in December. What'll you have?
Well, maybe I'll take a glass of water.
Water here? You kidding? Here, mister, we got some pretty good wine here. At least have a glass of wine, huh? Look, I've never seen you around here before. How did you happen to come in here to the tavern?
Oh, I was just walking around, saw the lights, thought I'd drop in. You don't think much of Christmas, do you, Archie?
Oh, you got me wrong. I love it. I wouldn't be without it. Good old Christmas. It's the time of the year when after you work for a guy for 9 years and knock your brains out, he says to you, Merry Christmas, Archie. The time when even your closest friend walks out on you.
Well, maybe there's another side to Christmas.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, like the look on a kid's face when he sees what Santa Claus has left in his stocking.
Uh-huh.
Or like the feeling in a man's heart when his family's around him on Christmas Eve. You see, Christmas isn't a thing you can reach out and touch, Archie. It's a thing inside us.
Look, bud, I can see you've been running around with a different class of people. Around this neighborhood, every guy is out for himself.
Oh, I don't know.
I think this neighborhood and the people are pretty much the same as most others.
Oh, I know he's a stranger.
Well, I could be wrong. Why don't you and I take a little walk?
You mean you want to see for yourself?
Mm-hmm. Maybe a little fresh air will do you good, Archie.
Fresh air? Are you inferring this joint is an incinerator?
Well, no.
Well, it is. Come on, let's go. Hey, Eddie, keep an eye on the joint, will you? Listen to that, will you? Not only don't you only get it over the radio, you can't even walk along a public street with that belting it at you.
I kind of like it.
You like it? Well, everybody to his own poison. Did you ever listen to the words of that song?
Did you?
I should have had to listen to them all day. All is calm, all is bright. How do you like that? The world is a mess. Everybody has his hand in the other guy's pocket, but don't make no difference to the guy that wrote that song. To him, all is bright.
Well, maybe the guy that wrote that song was thinking about something in men's hearts. Something that shines a little brighter on a day like this. Didn't you ever sing Christmas carols, Archie?
Oh, yeah. Christmas carols, sure, when I was a punk kid and I didn't know no better. But you have to grow up someday.
Well, that's the trouble with a lot of us. Maybe we're not growing up. Maybe we're just losing track of things that matter.
Like what?
Oh, things like faith, tolerance, human kindness.
That's nice. And where does one find them things?
You don't find them, Archie. You give them. And it's a funny thing. The more you give, the more you have. Say, why don't we drop in over there?
Huh?
Across the street.
Across the street? That's a church.
Yeah, I know. Why don't we drop in for a second?
Into a church?
Why not?
What? I wouldn't know how to act.
You, don't go to church, huh?
Well, no, I'm not rapping it, you know. It's just that there's two types of guys when it comes to going to church. There's them that does and them that don't. I happen to be the type that don't.
Well, now, why don't you just drop in with me for a second?
Well, I guess if I go with somebody else, it won't count against me. Funny thing, now, you know, to take a look at you, I wouldn't figure that you was the religious type.
So?
Oh, but that's what I say. You never can tell about people. Okay, leave us go in.
Nice in here, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's kind of quiet.
Yeah. I guess this is one of the few places left where you can find peace and quiet.
That's what I can't understand. People just come in here and they sit. They just sit. They don't do nothing.
Oh, yes, they do. They pray, meditate. Some of them even come in here to keep warm.
Couldn't they do that just as well at home?
Maybe some of them don't have a home.
You see? That's what I've been trying to tell you. It's a pretty tough world.
But it'd be tougher if they didn't have a place like this to come to. Didn't you ever pray, Archie?
Well, sure, when I was a kid. What was that prayer again? They learned us, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, well, you know the thing I mean. But, look, mister, please, leave us get out of here. I'm beginning to get the heebie-jeebies.
All right.
Look, just a second, bud.
What are you doing?
Well, the sign says help the poor, don't it?
I thought you believed in everybody helping themselves.
Well, I do, but tonight maybe I'm a little superstitious.
Or maybe it's just because it's Christmas.
Look, mister, please, don't start with that peace on earth stuff, will you? I told you I'd take you around, show you the neighborhood and what it's really like now. Please, let's keep it that way.
Get your Christmas edition in paper.
Just a minute, I want to pick up a paper.
Get your paper.
Here's that crippled kid there. Nice kid, Jimmy Turner.
Crippled, huh?
Yeah, he ain't walked in years, but he's always got a smile for everybody, and I like to help him out once in a while.
Paper, read all about it. Get your paper.
Hiya, Jimmy.
Hello, Archie. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, kid.
Well, Jimmy, it's a little tough not being able to walk, isn't it?
Oh, I ain't chicken. I can yell. That's all I need for this racket.
What'd you get for Christmas, Jimmy?
Nothing much. But it's okay. I got my Christmas present last summer.
Last summer?
Yeah. One of my customers took me up to the Yankee Stadium to see the Yanks play.
You like the Yanks, Jimmy?
Like 'em. Did you ever see that DiMaggio play ball?
Oh, do me a favor, son.
Okay, mister. Here you are. Latest edition.
Thanks, kid. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, mister.
You were talking about Joe DiMaggio, Jimmy.
Oh, boy, what a ball player. That DiMaggio's the greatest outfielder in the world. And the way that guy can pull him.
Jimmy, do you know who that was who bought the paper just now?
Who?
That was Joe DiMaggio.
You're kidding.
No, look at him. He just stopped there by that streetlight.
Joe DiMaggio? You mean Joe bought a paper from me and I didn't even recognize him?
Wait a minute. Maybe I can get him to come back. Hey, DiMaggio. Hey, DiMaggio. Hey, you.
You calling me?
Yes. You know, you've got quite an admirer in that crippled newsboy over there.
Me?
Yeah. Now look. You're Joe DiMaggio. And if that kid could shake hands with you, it'd be the best Christmas present he ever got. Would you do it?
Of course I will. Be glad to. Come on, let's go over to him.
No, just a minute. Let him walk over to you.
But mister, I told you the kid can't walk.
Well, let's find out, Archie. Oh, Jimmy. Joe DiMaggio wants to shake hands with you.
Yeah, come on, Jimmy. Come on over and shake hands.
But, gee, Joe, don't you see? I can't.
Come on, Jimmy.
Joe, I'm walking. Mash. You see what I'm doing to Mash? I'm walking.
I can't understand it. Positively incredible.
What's the matter?
That kid back there. I seen him sitting in that corner like that for the past 6 years, and tonight the kid is walking.
Maybe he could have walked all the time.
No, he couldn't. You did it. You did it by telling him that was Joe DiMaggio.
It was.
Now, look, you can fool a kid, but don't try to fool me. It couldn't have been DiMaggio.
No?
Certainly not. I just read in the papers this morning DiMaggio was spending Christmas with his family in San Francisco. Hey, look, this thing is getting a little weird.
Nice town, San Francisco.
Huh? Oh. Well, I ain't never been that far west. San Francisco your hometown?
No.
Where you from?
I'm from the east.
The east? What town?
A small town called Bethlehem.
Bethlehem, huh? Hey, you know anybody in Allentown?
I might.
A guy by the name of Lou Grant?
Lou Grant? Does he run a bar and grill on Front Street?
Yeah, that's the guy. Well, you sure get around, don't you? What are you, one of them traveling salesmen or something?
Well, I guess you might call me that. Well, say, what's the excitement? What's the crowd doing in front of that hotel?
Where? Oh, yeah. Hey, lady, what's going on here?
That man up there on the ledge.
Where?
Up there on the window ledge of the hotel. He says he's going to jump at midnight.
Why?
I don't know. I guess he's crazy. He says he never wants to see another Christmas.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you can hardly blame the guy. Hey, wait. There goes the chimes. Must be 11:45. Let me check my watch here. Yeah, the guy's got exactly 15 minutes before he jumps. Let's stick around.
Are you sure of the time?
Well, certainly. I always set me watch by them chimes.
Well, how long has he been up there?
Oh, for hours. The police have been trying to find his wife.
His wife?
Yes. They think maybe if they found her, she could talk him out of it.
Come on, Archie.
Where you going?
I'd like to talk to that fellow.
You're crazy. They ain't gonna let you in that hotel. Look at the cops guarding the doorway. Besides, you can't do nothing with a guy like that. He's nuts.
I'd like to talk to him anyway.
Okay, have it your way. We'll tell the cops we live in a hotel, but I better go along with you.
Hey, wait a minute, you. Where do you think you're going?
We live here. Me and me friend here was just going up to our suite.
You and what friend?
That guy there. That guy that just walked in.
Nobody walked in this hotel, Bud. And nobody's gonna walk in.
Okay, so nobody walked in. What am I going to do, argue with you? I'm telling you, I just come in with the guy.
Look, son, why don't you go home and sleep it off?
come near and try to grab me. If you do, I'll jump.
I'm not going to grab you. I just came to talk to you. To see if maybe I could change your mind.
Too late to change my mind. As soon as those chimes ring, I'm jumping. I'm not afraid to die.
Maybe you're afraid to live. A lot of people are.
What have I got to live for?
What have any of us got to live for? Look at those people down there on the street, hundreds of them, waiting for a ray of hope, a sign of courage in this frightened world. What you're doing might extinguish the last spark of faith in many of their tired hearts.
Their tired hearts. At least their wives are with them at Christmas. Come on, chimes, ring. Ring. Let's get it over with.
Your wife means a lot to you, doesn't she?
If she didn't, do you think I'd be up here? I haven't had one peaceful moment since she left me.
Why did she leave you?
Because I was a fool. But it's too late to think of that. Oh, why don't those chimes ring out and get it over with? What's slowing them up?
Nothing's slowing them up. It's just that in these last moments, the seconds seem like years.
Paul.
Anne.
Yes, darling, it's me.
Oh, Anne.
Paul.
Thank God you've come back.
My darling.
Those chimes. I was going to jump when I heard them.
Yes, I know. I was afraid I was too late. Thank God I got here in time.
Hello, Archie. Glad I found you again.
Hey, it's you. How did you do it, mister? How'd you stop that guy from jumping?
Just talked to him till his wife came. She just got there in time.
Yeah. Funny how she just got there in time, wasn't it?
What do you mean?
Well, heavens, I was looking at me watch, timing it out to see when the guy was going to jump.
So?
Them chimes rang 4 minutes late.
Maybe your watch is slow.
Oh, no, it ain't. Remember, I checked it with the chimes a little while ago, and them bells has never been wrong. Look, come on. Leave us get out of here. I'm getting back to the tavern. This is a little too screwy for me.
Okay, we'll take a cab. There's an empty one.
Where to, fellas?
We want to go to Duffy's Tavern, quick.
Okay. How about a little music?
Wait a minute. There it is. Driver, please. Take that thing off of there, will you? Get something else.
Okay.
Oh, what the use? Leave it on there. Look, mister.
Yeah?
You know something? You stayed pretty calm considering all the crazy things that have been happening tonight. It's a little weird. First the newsboy, then the guy on the window ledge.
Well, we all have our troubles, Archie. We all get off the track once in a while. We just need something bigger than ourselves to steer us straight.
You mean something like religion?
Call it that. Call it human kindness, tolerance, understanding.
Begin to see what you mean. Hey, driver, watch out for that guy. Look, don't worry, taxi. It wasn't your fault. The guy walked right out in front of you.
Yeah. Did you see him, mister? He walked right out in front of me.
Well, let's see how badly he's hurt.
Hey, we better call a cop.
Hey, here comes the cop now. All right. Stand back. Give the poor devil a chance. Now, what happened here? Well, the guy walked right out in front of the cab.
Yeah, the driver's right, officer. It wasn't a taxi's fault. We was riding along, and all of a sudden this guy stepped right out in front of the cab. Like he was blind.
Hey, wait a minute. He is a blind man. There's his cane there.
Here, maybe I can help him.
Wait a minute, you take your hands off him. It's against the law. Wait till the ambulance gets here.
Against the law to help someone?
You heard me. You never know when you're doing them more harm than good.
All right, officer, just as you say.
Hey, wait a minute. Look. The guy's getting up.
What hit me? The crowd. The noise. I was all confused. Tell me, what? Oh, wait. Wait a minute. Lights. And faces. I can see. I can see.
Easy now, mister. You'd better not try to get up.
I'm all right, I tell you. And I can see. For the first time since Okinawa, I can see.
I didn't mean to hit you, Bud. You didn't mean to hit him. You done him a favor. The guy says he can see. Hey, the shock must have given back his sight.
No, it wasn't that. Someone touched me. I felt a cool hand. And the minute he touched me, I was all right. Where is he? Where is he?
Come on, Archie. Let's go. We've done all we can.
Well, it certainly is good to be back in the tavern again. I think we'd better have a little drink, though. You want to finish your wine, Bud?
No, thanks.
You know something? I'm all mixed up.
Mixed up?
Yeah, about this Christmas stuff.
Well, you see, Archie, as I said, Christmas isn't just a date on a calendar. Or a wreath in a window or a song. It's something in men's hearts. And they can let it die or keep it in their hearts the year round.
365 days of Christmas. You know, it's a funny thing. If you'd said that to me a little while ago, I'd have laughed in your face. But now I don't know. Wait a second. I'd like to turn on the radio a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, that's a good one. Wonder what happened to that silent night. What do you think of that? All night long they played that same tune and it drove me nuts. Now all of a sudden I got a feeling I'd kind of like to hear it again.
Hey, Mr. Archie. Miss Archie. Mr. Archie.
Huh? What is it, Eddie?
I finally got you some dance music on the radio.
Eddie, I don't want no dance music. Turn it off, will you?
I wish you'd make up your mind.
Look, mister, until you walked in here today, Hey, Eddie. Eddie, what happened to that guy I was talking to?
Well, nobody talking to you.
You're nuts. He was standing here at the bar. He came in with me.
Mr. Archie, please, there's nobody here.
No? Maybe it was all... Eddie, you sure that there was nobody here?
No. Must have been seeing things.
Maybe you're right. But wait a minute. This glass of wine here. The glass is half empty.
What?
Nothing, Eddie, nothing. Just leave me alone for a little while, will you?
Okay. Good night, Mr. Archie.
Good night, Eddie. Eddie.
Yeah?
Merry Christmas.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Archie. Merry Christmas to you, sir. Good night.
Good night. Christmas. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
To you with every good wish for a very merry, a very happy Christmas. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company. Author's Playhouse. Presenting O.Henry's imperishable masterpiece, Christmas by Injunction. Author's Playhouse, NBC's popular Sunday night dramatic series, brings you radio adaptations of the best in the field of short stories. Selections from the works of those dead and living who were and are acknowledged masters of their craft. To the reader of short stories, O.Henry needs no introduction. No one knew better than he the art of holding his reader in suspense, and then, with the last few words, revealing his plot in its entirety. Rachel Lindsay wrote of him, he always worked a triple hymn surprise to end the scene and make one rub his eyes. Tonight's tale of Christmas in the winning camps of the Young West is no exception. Author's Playhouse presents O.Henry's Christmas by Injunction.
Take this jug along with you, Cherokee. Ain't so much as an air bubble between what's in it and the cord.
Well, thank you, sir. That's right neighborly of you.
It's good for snake bites if you get snake bit.
Hey, so one pies and fight each other, I reckon, eh?
Oh, Cherokee.
Oh, yes, Judge.
Is there nothing which we, your fellow citizens of Yellowhammer, can say or do to influence you to forsake your plans for departing from our midst?
I'm afeard not, Judge. No, my mind's made up.
But, Cherokee, you are the, shall I say, the civic father of Yellowhammer.
He sure is.
It was you who discovered the gold which was responsible for the establishment of our fair cities.
I reckon that's a fact, Judge. One day when old Betsy here was dining on porch and prickly pear, I turned up that nugget. 30 ounces she was. 30 ounces, eh?
Yeah, but what Cherokee done, he didn't hold out on his friends. I was up in the Gila country when he got word to me about the strike he made.
I was in Santa Fe, as busted as a 4-card diamond flush with a club draw to it.
Well, I, too, was financially embarrassed. Only temporarily, of course, when the gladsome tidings reached me in El Paso.
I was up on the Salt River, flattered in one of Mamacita Rosa's frijoles.
You see, Cherokee, merely because the fickle goddess turned her back on you for the moment is hardly sufficient cause for you to forsake your friend.
No, Judge, no. When my claim played out, it just played out. I'm much more than obliged to all of you for your kind offers made, but grub steak is all I need, and the grub steak's what I got. I reckon I'll prospect up along in the Mariposas. And if I strike it up there, I'll most certainly pass the word along.
Yes, sure, thank you, boys.
Cherokee,
If your mind's made up, I reckon it's made up, and there's nothing more we can say. But if Lady Luck don't see fit to warm her hands by your campfire up in the Mariposas, don't forget for a single minute you got friends here in Yellowhammer. Friends that's beholden to you.
Yes, sir, that's right. Indeed, yes, indeed, Cherokee. I speak for all when I say, I hope you will consider Yellowhammer in perpetual debt to you a bed, bacon and eggs, and hot water for shaving.
Thank you, gents, thank you. That's more than white of you. Well, we better be getting. Move along, Betsy. Hi, Dad. Here the Dad.
Well, so long,
Cherokee. Good luck, my job. Thanks, Cherokee.
Don't forget, Cherokee, whatever call you may make upon us, the Yellowhammer will never forget its Romulus and Remus.
Where the bunch is getting to be.
What do you make it, Jed?
It is now December the 20th, gentlemen. The old year is fast approaching its inevitable descent into the limbo of things that have been.
Yeah, that's right, Jed.
Hey, gents, look who's here.
Hold it!
He just cut in with the mail from Albuquerque, and he's got news of Cherokee.
Baldy, you old buzzard, step up and name your poison.
Don't mind if I do.
When was it old Cherokee headed out for the Mariposas?
Latter part of May, seems like.
That's what I made it. That means Cherokee's been gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months.
Gentlemen, let us hear the welcome tidings Baldy brings us of our long-absent friend.
The judge is right. Get to talking, Baldy.
Well, I'll do that, gents. Well, sir, what do I see in Albuquerque but Cherokee all embellished and festooned up like the Tsar of Turkey and lavishing money in bulk?
Well,
yes, sir. And him and me see the elephant and the owl. Cherokee, he audits all bills C.O.D. Why, his pockets loaded looked like a pool table after a 15-ball run.
Cherokee must have struck payor.
Yeah.
Well, he's a square I'm proud first.
Seems like he'd rambled down to Yellowhammer and set up around for his friends.
It seems that way.
Gentlemen, let us judge not too hastily, nor harshly.
Well, that's right, Judge. I'm a-coming to that.
Boys, Cherokee strikes a 3-foot vein up in that Mariposa that I say is a trip to Europe to the tongue. Yes, sir. And he closes it out to a syndicate for $100,000 hasty dollars in cash.
Cherokee's smart. I've seen them veins pinch out the length of a pick handle.
And what do you think? Why, he buys himself a baby sealskin overcoat and a red sled. And what do you reckon he takes into his head to do next?
Chuckle up.
No.
Bought a saloon?
No.
Got married.
No. You gents would never guess in a million years, so I'll tell you.
Well?
Cherokee took me to a room and showed me. He got that room plumb full of drums and doll skates and bags of candy and jumping jacks and whistles and such infantile truck.
He's went soft-headed. That's what he's done.
Well, pray continue, Baldy. We're all ears. Well, sir, he's a-going to load up in his red sleigh. Now, wait a minute. Don't order the drinks yet. He's a-going to drive down here to Yellowhammer and give the kids of this here town the biggest crying doll and little giant boy's tool chest blowout that was ever seen west of Cape Hatteras.
Well, I'm astonished.
I'm speechless.
Baldy, didn't you tell him?
Well, no, never exactly seen my way to.
Why not?
Cherokee had this Christmas mess already bought and paid for, and he was all flattered up with self-esteem over his idea, so I never let on.
I cannot refrain from a certain amount of surprise that our friend Cherokee should possess such an erroneous conception of his, as it were, hometown.
Well, Cherokee's been gone from Yellowhammer most 7 months. Lots of things could happen in that length of time. How's he to know there ain't a single kid in this town? And so far as emigration's concerned, unexpected.
Come to think, it's funny some ain't drifted in.
Well, I reckon the town ain't settled enough yet to bring in the teething ring brigade.
Yeah, not only that, to top off these Christmas tree splurge of Cherokees, he's a-fixin' to give an imitation of Santa Claus. Why, sure. Why, he's got white wig and whiskers that disfigures him and makes him look like the pictures of this here William Cullen Longfellow in the poetry book. And a red suit of fur-trimmed underwear, 8-ounce gloves, and stand-up lay-down crocheted cap.
Well, Baldy, when does Cherokee allow to come over with his truck?
Morning before Christmas.
Uh-huh.
Now, he wants you folks to have a room fixed up and a tree hauled and ready. But he said be sure and keep it a secret from the kids.
To think that the voice of childhood has never gladdened our city. The patter of restless little feet never consecrated its streets. Nowhere in Yellowhammer are there roguish, expectant eyes, ready to open wide at dawn of the enchanting day. Eager, tiny hands to reach for Santa's bewildering array of gifts. Elated, childish voicings of the season's joy.
That's right, Judge. Well, Cherokee also made mention he'd appreciate whatever assistance the women folks of Yellowhammer might care to render for his little soiree.
Well, there ain't but one female woman in town, Baldy. Miss Walker, the assayer's wife.
That's right.
You forget Miss Fanchon Spangler in the troupe at the Opera House. An estimable lady, I'm sure.
And if worst come to worst, maybe Miss Fanchon could play like she was a little girl for Cherokee, like she done in that show, The Miner's Bride.
No, Thirsty. Her performance was adequate, circumstances taken into consideration. But between her delineation and the visions of adolescence which fancy conjures as eligible recipients of Cherokee's bounty, there is a gulf. Yes, I may say a gulf.
Yes, I called this here meeting of the leading citizens of Yellowhammer for a mighty special reason.
Well, what is it?
Well, it'd be a disgrace to Yellowhammer if it throwed Cherokee down on his Christmas tree blowout.
That's right.
Well, as for me, I'm going to see what can be done to give Santa Claus a square deal.
Yes, that's right. Where would you? My cooperation would be gladly forthcoming, Trinidad.
Thank you, Judge.
But I do not see... frankly, heretofore I have regarded the absence of children rather as a luxury. But in this instance, still I do not see...
Look at me, Judge, and you'll see old ways and me's with fur on.
With the fur on.
I'm going to hitch up a team and rustle a load of kids for Cherokees down the chimney act if I got a robbing orphan asylum.
Splendid, Trinidad. A splendid thought. I will accompany you.
Wiley Wilson and his old lady that's homesteading down Wild Horse Canyon has got a whole passel of kids. Why, they could loan out a couple or so and never know they was gone.
That's
right.
Yeah, and don't forget the widow Singletary over towards Wildcat Crossing. When old man Singletary cashed in his chips last summer, he left hers anyways a dozen or so young'uns, sorted sizes and ages.
Why can't we use all, Have no fear, gentlemen. When Trinidad and I return, we shall be accompanied by a bevy of laughing, carefree children. If the mountain refuses to come to Muhammad, behold, Muhammad will go to the mountain.
That's Whoa, Nib. Whoa, Nellie. Whoa. Whoa. This is Wiley Wilson's place, Judge.
Oh, yes.
I'll call him out. Oh, Wiley! Wiley Wilson!
I'm Wiley Wilson. Is there something I can do for you, gents?
Well, it's this way, Mr. Wilson. We're from Yellowhammer, and we come kidnapping.
Kidnap?
But just in a gentle sort of way, you might say, Mr. Wilson. Seems like one of our leading citizens is stung with a Santa Claus affliction, and, well, he's due in town tomorrow night with half the falderalls that's painted red and says Mama when you squeeze him.
In other words, Mr. Wilson, the season of the year having approximately arrived, during which it is the custom to bestow frivolous but oft appreciated gifts among the young...
Now, where we're between a hard spot and a rock is the youngest kid we got in Yellowhammer packs a 45 and a safety razor. So, consequent, we're mighty shy on somebody to say oh and aw when we light the candles on Christmas.
May I say, Mr. Wilson, we have discovered for the first time in our embryonic but progressive little city the inconvenience of the absence of adolescence.
So, partner, if you'll loan us a few kids, we guarantee to return them safe and sound on Christmas Day. And they'll come back all loaded down with a good time at Swiss Family Robinsons and cornucopias, red drums, and similar testimonials. Well, what do you say, Mr. Wilson?
I understand, and I don't reckon the need to detain you, gents. Me and the old woman's got 7 kids, so to speak, but running my mind over the bunch, I don't appear to hit upon none we could spare for you to take over to your doing.
But couldn't we perhaps divide them, Mr. Wilson? Say 4 for you and 3 for us. We should be happy to accept the leavings.
There ain't no leavings, gents, and they're yourn.
Oh, me.
No, gents, thank you kindly, but I can't seem to fall in with the idea of letting none of them go.
Look, Miss Singletary, you got 12 kids, ain't you?
Well, I did have the last time I counted them. But land o' living, riding herd on them young'uns is a 24-hour-a-day job.
Exactly, madam. That is why the absence of one pass unnoticed, I am confident. We will see that he or she or it returns to you on Christmas Day, laden with sufficient toys and goodies to lavish the season's cheer upon your entire flock.
If that ain't just like a man. Why, if a single one was missing tomorrow night when they hang up their stockings, the other 11 would take on and beller till you could probably hear 'em all the way to Yellowhammer.
But surely, madam, one...
If you took one, you might as well take all. And you needn't worry none about that. Well, what kind of a mother would I be, loaning out my own flesh and blood on Christmas Eve? I'd be a female Judas. That's what I'd be.
Jed, the further we go, the worse it gets. We've been out most 2 days now. Tomorrow's Christmas. We ain't been able to rustle so much as one young'un.
Situation is indeed becoming critical.
It's beginning to creep on my faculties that borrowing kids at Christmas is something like trying to steal butter from a man that's got hot pancakes a-coming.
Trinidad, what is yon abode?
Oh, that's where Juan Fernandez lives. He's a section hand on the railroad.
Which answer our Fernandez progeny?
Whole shackfuls, but I just doubt we can borrow any. Them Mexicanos set a heap of store by Christmas.
We can but try. Angels can do no more. On, Trinidad. On to the Fernandez menage.
Buenas tardes, Juan.
Buenas tardes, senor.
Juan, we were just wondering if you'd let us borrow one or maybe two of them muchachos of yours.
You mean to take los niños?
Well, just for tonight. We'll bring them back tomorrow, safe and sound.
And nobly enriched in material possession.
No, señores. Madre de Dios. Conchita, she will kill me if todos los niños are not here for Navidad.
All right, Juan. We'll just leave it go at that. Do you know anybody around here that's got from one kid on up for hire or borrow?
This senora, she's come last week where the railroad mans they eat. She have one muchacho.
Oh, that's the railroad cafe at the Granite Junction, Jed.
Oh?
Muchas gracias, Juan. Felices Navidad y Año Nuevo. Giddy up, Ned. Giddy up, Nellie.
On, Trinidad, on. And may success crown this despairing effort.
That's why we'd be mighty proud if you'd let him take it.
And you may place the utmost trust in our integrity, madam.
I'd count it a mercy if you would take Bobby for a while. I'm on the go from early morning until late at night, and I don't have time to tend to him. He's learning bad habits from the men, too. It'll be the only chance you'll have to get me Christmas. Bobby. Oh, Bobby.
What do you want?
Come on in, Bobby. These gentlemen want to talk to you.
All right. Tell them to keep their shirts on.
That's a good boy, son. Not going to snow off your boots. Here are the gentlemen that want to talk to you.
What do they want?
Well, it's like this, Bobby. Over in Yellowhammer, we got our Christmas tree that's all lit up like our country church. And we're hereby inviting you to join up with us and make merry and festive.
And moreover, my young friend, Santa Claus himself will personally distribute the offerings, which will typify the gifts conveyed by the shepherds of Bethlehem to
come off. I ain't no kid. There ain't no Santa Claus. It's your folks that buys toys and sneaks them in when you're asleep. They make marks in the soot with tongs that look like Santa's sleigh tracks.
Well, that might be so. I ain't no authority on the subject. But Christmas trees ain't no fairy tale. This one we got looks like the 10-cent store in Albuquerque, all strung up in the redwood. There's tops and drums and Noah's Ark and horses.
Rats. I cut them out long ago. I'd like to have a rifle. Not a target one, but a real one to shoot wildcats with. But I guess you won't have any of them in your road tree.
Well, I can't say for sure. It might be. You go along with us and see.
All right. I'll go with you. But if there ain't a real rifle on that tree, you can bring me right back here.
There's a tree all trimmed up and just waiting for Santa Claus and his reindeers.
Well, say, it's right pretty, Miss Walker. And I'm mighty pleased to you and Miss Spangler for helping us get it all shored up and ready to delight the young'un.
Oh, Mr. Cherokee, I think what you're planning to do tonight is one of the sweetest things I've ever heard of in all my life. You have a heart of purest gold.
Oh, Miss Spangler, it ain't nothing. Well, when them kids is rounded up, light the candles on the tree, and tell them to play in Pussy Watch a Corner and sing with him. And when they get going good at it, why, old Santa'll just slide in the door. Hey, I reckon there's plenty of gifts to go round, huh?
I'm sure there is, Cherokee.
Oh, yes, of course.
Well, I'd better be a-getting. I'll put on my costume, and when I hear the kids are squealing and taking on over the Christmas tree, I'll just mosey back.
My dear Carson.
It's the most beautiful tree I've ever seen.
It is pretty, ain't it? Tex.
Yes?
While you're up on that ladder, that star ain't quite straight. Tip it a mite more towards the window, will you?
Sure thing you know, Miss Walker. Now there, how's that?
That's just fine, Tex.
Yeah, drive it up in front now, Miss Walker.
And the children, bless their baby hearts. Are the children with them?
Snoring so thick, it's hard to tell.
They got one maverick in tow. I can see him. Might on the ruddy side, I'd say.
Well, open the door, Tex, and let them in. Now, everybody get ready and wish Merry Christmas when they all come streaming in, huh?
Shucks. I've seen fancier Christmas trees than that one lots of times.
Kennedy. Dead. Where are all the other children?
Well, ma'am, the prospecting for kids at Christmas time is like hunting in limestone for silver. This here young bothead ma'am is all that washes out of our 2 days' maneuver.
Oh, the sweet little boy.
Ah, shut up. Who's a kid? You ain't your best.
Fresh little imp.
May I say that we exerted ourselves to the utmost, but results were nil, or practically so.
Me and the judge, we done the best we could. It's tough on Cherokee, but it can't be helped.
Everybody get ready. Here comes Santa Claus now.
There he comes.
Whoa, dancer! Whoa, prancer! Whoa, Duggar and Melissa!
Santa's telling his reindeer to stop.
Don't give me that. Reindeers live in Alaska. I'll bet 2 bits against a plug of chewing tobacco. All those are a team of mules or horses.
Prepare for the entrance of Chris Kringle. Swing wide the portal text that the jolly saint's entrance may be unimpeded.
Merry Christmas, everybody! Merry Christmas, little boy. Anything you see on that tree that you want, we'll get it down for you. Won't you shake hands with Santa Claus?
There ain't no Santa Claus. You just got on old billy goat whiskers in your face. I ain't no kid. What I want with 1,000 tin horses? The driver said you'd have a rifle. You ain't. I want to go home.
I'm sorry, Cherokee. There never was a kid in Yellowhammer. Me and the judge, we tried to rustle a bunch of them for your soiree, but this sardine was all we could catch. And he's an atheist and don't believe in Santa Claus.
I don't know what I was thinking about, but it never occurred to me in my cogitations that there wasn't no kids in Yellowhammer.
Nary a one, Cherokee. This jacksnipe here we had to import.
Well, he'll be better than none at all. Come here, little boy.
What do you want?
Oh, I just wanted to propound a civil question or two. Where do you live?
Granite Junction. My ma runs the railroad eating house. I can roll one-handed just as good as the men can. Sometimes they give me chewing tobacco and cigarettes that's already rolled.
I see. And you don't take no stock in this here Santa Claus rigmarole, huh?
Nah, that's just for babies.
Well, that being the case, I can't see no good and valid reason not to take off these here false whiskers and wigs.
Sure, take 'em off. You ain't fooling me a bit. Hey, I know your mug all right.
Did you ever see me before?
I never seen you before, but I seen your picture lots of times.
Where?
On a bureau at home.
Hey, let's have your name, if you please, bub.
Robert Lumsden. The picture belongs to my ma. She puts it under her pillow at night. Once I saw her kiss it. I wouldn't. Well, women are funny that way.
Trinidad!
Yeah, Cherokee?
Keep this boy by you till I come back.
You betcha I will, Cherokee.
I'm going to peel off these here Christmas nuts and hitch up my sleigh. I'm going to take this kid home.
Got a match?
Yep. Oh, possible.
How about slip me one?
What for?
What for? To light this cigarette.
Throw that cigarette away.
Yes, sir.
Throw the whole package, too.
Yes, sir. Say, I like you. I don't know why. Nobody ever made me do nothing I didn't want to do before.
Tell me, kid. Are you sure your ma kissed that picture that looks like me?
Dead sure. I seen her do it.
Didn't you remark some time a spell back that you wanted a rifle?
You bet I did. Will you get me one?
Tomorrow? Silver mounted.
Gee!
9:30. We'll hit the junction plumb on time with Christmas Day. Are you cold?
Huh?
Sit closer, son.
You have heard Christmas by Injunction, one of O.Henry's greatest short stories, especially adapted for Author's Playhouse by Jack Mitchell. The cast of tonight's presentation included Cliff Fibber as Cherokee, Curly Bradley as Trinidad, Sidney Elstrom as the Judge, and Jerry Spellman as Bobby. In the supporting cast were Fern Persons, Harriet Unn, Eva Parnell, Hilda Graham, Dan Bowers, Clarence Hartzell, Percy Hemus, Carl Cronky, and Michael Romano. The original musical score was written and conducted by Roy Shield. 1 week from tonight, Author's Playhouse will return to the air with a romantic comedy of love and football, Unlike Leonardo, by Howard Rigsby. Author's Playhouse originates in our Chicago studios as a Red Network presentation of the National Broadcasting Company.
The Coronet Little Show. The Coronet Little Show, presenting fact and fiction, dramatized by the Coronet Storyteller. Today we are going back to a Christmas Eve in the 19th century. O.Henry's story of the true Christmas spirit, of love and sacrifice, the gift of the Magi, will be brought to you in just a moment by the Coronet Storyteller. $1.87. That was all. And 60 cents of it was in pennies. Pennies saved 1 and 2 at a time. Della counted it for the third time.
$1.84, $1.85, $1.86, $1.87.
It was still the same. And the next day would be Christmas. $1.87 with which to buy a present for Jim. Her Jim. There was clearly nothing to do but flop down on the shabby little couch and howl. So Della did it. While Della's sniffles are gradually subsiding, take a look at the vestibule below, where you will see on the letterbox a card bearing the name Mr. James Dillingham Young. The Dillingham had been flung to the breeze during a former period of prosperity, when its possessor was being paid $30 per week. Now, when the income was shrunk to $20, the letters of Dillingham looked blurred, as though they were thinking seriously of contracting to a modest and unassuming D. But whenever Mr. James Dillingham Young came home and reached his flat above, he was called Jim and greatly hugged by Mrs. James Dillingham Young. That's Della. She has now finished her cry and is looking into the pier glass, attending to her cheeks with a powder rag. Suddenly, as she stands before the glass, she pulls down her hair and lets it fall to its full length. Now, there were 2 possessions of the James Dillingham Youngs in which they both took a mighty pride. One was Jim's gold watch that had been his father's and his grandfather's. The other was Della's hair, which now ripples about her, shining like a cascade of brown waters and reaching below her knees. Her eyes are brilliant, but her face has lost its color. Nervously and quickly, she does her hair up again, slips into her old brown jacket, puts on her old brown hat, and in the twinkling of an eye, she is halfway down the stairs and out on the street. Della has a determined, almost desperate look as she sights a sign reading Madame Sofroni, hair goods of all kinds. She stops quickly, then opens the door, which leads to a flight of stairs. Della rushes panting up the stairs and plumb into the portly figure of Madame Sofroni.
Will you buy my hair?
I'd buy hair? Take your hat off. Let's have a sight of the looks of it.
Down ripples the brown cascade.
$20.
All right. Only quickly, please.
In a few moments, the implacable Madame Sofroni and her scissors have done the job. And Della, minus her hair, but richer by $20, flees from the store into the street again. This time she's looking for a different store, a store in which to buy, not to sell. At last she finds herself in a department store in the midst of a gay holiday throng. At the jewelry counter, as she longingly handles a platinum chain, she hesitantly asks,
You did say $21, didn't you? Yes, that's what I thought.
This is it. This is the present just made for Jim and no one else. There's no other like it in any of the stores. She knows, for she turned all of them inside out. It's a platinum fob chain, simple and chaste in design. Della has made her mind up.
I'll take it.
With the chain wrapped in a holiday box and clutched in her eager hand, Della finds herself again out on the street. But this time she is in such a rosy glow she hardly notices the other last-minute shoppers hurrying by. The street trio playing Christmas carols. The old gentleman who tries to sell her a holly wreath. It seems but seconds until she is back in the little furnished flat again. There's a sudden shock as the pier glass confronts her, this time accusingly. Now comes the moment of reckoning as she gazes with dismay at the short ends of her hair. The rosy glow gives way to prudence and reason. Out comes the curling iron, on with the gas jet, as she sets to work repairing the ravages made by generosity and love. In 40 minutes, she finishes with the last curl lying tiny and close to her head. making her look wonderfully like a truant schoolboy. But to Della, gazing critically at herself in the pier glass, the result is anything but wonderful.
If Jim doesn't kill me first, he'll say I look like a Coney Island chorus girl.
But no more time for reflections, physical or mental. It's nearly 7, and Jim is never late. She sits nervously waiting for Jim. Now she hears his steps on the stair way down on the first flight. She has a habit of saying silent little prayers about the simplest everyday things. And now she whispers,
Please, God, make him not mind my hair so much. Make him think I'm still pretty.
The door opens, and Jim steps in and closes it. He has a smile of welcome on his face as he glances around the room for Della. But the smile freezes on his lips as he suddenly sees her sitting on the corner of the table. An expression comes into his eyes as immovable as a setter dog at the scent of quail. The expression terrifies Della, who is expecting anger, surprise, disapproval, or even horror. But not this look of... Della wriggles off the table and goes to him.
Jim, darling, don't look at me that way. I had my hair cut off and sold it because I couldn't have lived through Christmas without giving you a present. It'll grow out again. You won't mind, will you? I just had to do it. My hair grows awfully fast. Say Merry Christmas, Jim, and let's be happy. And wait till you see the beautiful gift I got for you.
Della rattled on like that. But after she was all through, all Jim could ask laboriously was, You've cut off your hair. Della tried again, this time more patiently.
Sold, I tell you. Sold and gone, too. And it went for you, Jim. Maybe the hairs of my head were numbered. But nobody could ever count my love for you. Now, shall we have supper?
At last, Jim seemed to wake out of his trance. He enfolded Della in his arms. And then he carefully draws a package from his overcoat pocket and throws it on the table. Nimble fingers quickly tear open the string and paper. And then...
Oh, Jim, they're beautiful. How did you know they're what I've always wanted? No. My hair. My hair. Oh, Jim, how can I wear them?
There they lay. The combs. The set Della had worshipped for so long in an exclusive shop window. Pure tortoiseshell with jeweled rims. Just the shade to wear in the beautiful and vanished hair. They were expensive combs, Della knew. And her heart had craved and yearned over them without the least hope of possession. And now Della hugs them to her and looks up at Jim with dim eyes and a smile.
My hair grows so fast, Jim.
Then Della puts the combs down carefully, lovingly, and even more radiantly prepares to show Jim his gift. She holds it out to him eagerly on outstretched palm. The dull, precious metal gleams and glows, entirely satisfied with its own value.
Isn't it a beauty, Jim? You'll have to look at the time every 15 minutes now. Give me your watch. I want to see how it looks with the chain.
For answer, Jim sits down suddenly on the couch. Dell, he says, let's put our Christmas presents away and keep them a while. I sold the watch to get money to buy your combs. You have just heard O.Henry's Gift of the Magi, which was brought to you by your Coronet storyteller. The Gift of the Magi is just one of the many interesting stories and articles in the December issue of Coronet magazine. How much do you know about Christmas? Don't be too sure until you've taken the Merry Christmas quiz in the December issue of Coronet magazine. How many reindeer does Santa Claus drive? What is the famous Christmas opera? What well-known actor plays the role of Old Scrooge on the radio? These are 3 of the 25 questions in the Coronet Merry Christmas quiz. And now, here is your Coronet storyteller with his postscript from the pages of Coronet magazine. Be sure to join us next week, same time, same station, for another story from the pages of Coronet magazine. The Curse of the Barcarolle. Remember, next week, The Curse of the Barcarolle. Brought to you by the Coronet Storyteller on the Coronet Little Show. This is Mutual.
Johnny Dollar.
Pat McCracken, Johnny. How's the weather in Palm Springs?
A blonde in a bikini just melted past my poolside window. Goodbye now.
Oh, don't hang up. Johnny, this job's just a few miles north of where you are. It'll take maybe a day to clear it up.
Yeah, you said that last Christmas, Pat, and I got trapped in a blizzard. This season I soak in the sun. Happy New Year.
John boy, we have a bonus list in this office. Your name could be on it.
Near where I am, huh?
It's a ghost town in Calico. An old prospector named Kringle is breathing his last up there.
I thought old prospectors never died.
He wants to change the beneficiary on his $50,000 policy, but a nephew, Ned Kringle, threatened suit if we let him. So you contact our agent, Gene Craig, in Barstow.
Who's the new beneficiary?
Carmen Kringle.
Carmen?
A borough.
A borough?
Yeah. If I don't hear from you, Johnny, Merry Christmas.
Bob Bailey in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
And now, Act One of yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Home Office, Universal Adjustment Bureau, Hartford, Connecticut. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Carmen Kringle matter. Expense account item 1, $1.40. Telegram to Gene Craig in Barstow telling him where and when to meet me. Item 2, $50 even to Al Sterner for his charter plane to the ghost town of Calico. The guidebook says there's something about desert country that's good for the soul. And in spite of the air bumps, I got a panoramic view of the Great Mojave that took my breath away. The sun's setting rays hit the weird mineral stratas of the Calico Range and turned them into a patchwork of beauty. Night comes quickly in this country, and I turned to Al when a Christmas tree cluster of blinking lights appeared under our wing. By way of answer, he put the plane into a glide and set us down on the smooth surface of a dry lake bed.
You want me to wait around till your friend shows up?
No, thanks. Well, there seems to be plenty of company.
That's just an old coyote. Don't stand too long or you'll freeze to the spot.
Okay.
Good luck. Call me when you want to be picked up.
I watched Al's plane until it was swallowed by the darkness. Then suddenly I got that feeling in the hair on the back of my neck that I wasn't alone. The moon was up enough to make out shadows, and silhouetted in a circle around me was a strange collection of figures. One of the pack moved toward me, and for a crazy second, I thought I'd bumped into Santa Claus's reindeer. Then a car without lights came rushing at me. The headlights slammed on, and I got a glimpse of a donkey herd scattering into the night.
All right, mister. Walk toward me. Slow, with your hands high.
I've learned never to argue with a Winchester 94, so I followed orders. I spotted the weaving headlamps of another car approaching and prayed it was the agent, Gene Craig.
Close enough, Sonny. I can pop the rattlers off the sidewind at 60 yards, so don't you make no sudden move.
He was maybe 60 with gray sideburns and a frosty goatee. A marshal's badge was pinned to his leather jacket.
All right, now, mister.
Marshal, that's all right. That's Mr. Dollar.
Huh?
I was supposed to meet him earlier. I'm awfully sorry, Mr. Dollar. I'm Gene Craig.
Huh?
I couldn't get here until I drove Doc Spangler up to Chris. He's had another setback, Marshal.
Yeah, some darn fool let down a rail on his corral, and Chris Kringle's whole herd got loose. He don't give a chuck for most of them, though, except Carmen. Now he's fretting because she's running wild. Almost had him tracked down when this here fella showed up. If you vouch for him, huh, Gene?
You are Johnny Dollar, aren't you?
Well, a frozen facsimile.
Come on, I'll drive you into Calico.
You tell Chris that I'll have his Carmen back in the corral before the moon's full. And, Gene.
Yeah, Marshal.
Tell the old sourdough to stay alive, will you? We need him around here. Sorry about mistaking you, Mr. Dollar.
Craig, with a J, knew her way around. She was strictly business and filled me in fast on the old prospector with the odd name and his desire to change the beneficiary of his policy.
Everybody calls him Chris because every year he loads up his burros with toys and presents for the miners and their families back in the hills.
Oh?
The kids really think he is Santa Claus. I'm afraid it won't be a very merry one for them this year.
Well, what makes everyone so sure Chris Kringle is giving up the ghost?
Doc Spangler says there's nothing apparently wrong with him. It's more like he's given up.
Oh, what's with this Scrooge character, the nephew?
Ned Kringle seems all right. It's the man with him, Willie D'Agostino. He does the talking for Ned. You'd think he was going to inherit the money.
Well, maybe he's expecting to. You know, you're making a good case for Carmen.
Can a burro be a beneficiary, Johnny?
Chris can leave it to a 3-man sooner if he wants, providing a trust is set up.
Could the people of Calico be that trust if they promise to take care of Carmen?
Yeah, I guess so. Why?
That's the way Chris wants it. That way there'll always be a Christmas in Calico.
What happens when Carmen goes to donkey heaven? Or is it burros that never die?
There'll always be burros in Calico, Johnny. And one of them could always be named Carmen.
Act two of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment. Act two of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Carmen Kringle matter.
Well, here we are, Johnny. Calico. Once the richest silver city in the West.
It was unbelievable. Like seeing a page from the past. Walter Knott, famed creator of Knott's Berry Farm and Western historian, had bought the old ghost town's battered remnants and restored it to the way it must have appeared in the wild and fevered days of the Silver Lode. I could make out signs nailed to weathered batten boards that told of a flourishing and colorful past. Joe's Saloon, The Last Chance, Hyena House Hotel, Lane's Mercantile, the Calico Print. High on a hill at the edge of town, people were gathered at the entrance to a cave that was illuminated by hundreds of miners' lamps.
And it gets you, huh?
Almost like it was planned.
They're rehearsing for the Christmas Eve pageant. Maybe you can spend Christmas Eve with us, Johnny. You don't have other plans?
I have a day with a steam-heated swimming pool.
What?
Come on. Let's meet the old man. Expense account item 3, $100 for a quart of perfume or a mink scarf, anything to wipe the hurt look off of Jean Craig's face. She led me up the steps to the rickety porch of Chris Kringle's wooden shack. A tall figure carrying a black bag stepped toward us out of the shadows.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you. Will you drive me back to town?
Why, certainly, Doc. Oh, this is Mr. Dollar.
Hi, son.
Hi.
Chris, is he still all right?
I couldn't say. Been sitting out here waiting for you.
You haven't seen the patient?
The medical man owes a duty and all that, but I'm too old to talk back to a gun.
They wouldn't let you in?
Tired of it.
Well, I'm not a medical man.
Oh, please be careful, Johnny.
I told you, Stallbone, stay away and leave the old man
Well, if it ain't little Jeannie, the policy fixer. And who are you, mister?
Willie D'Agostino. This is Johnny Dollar. He's from the insurance company to see about changing the policy.
Who is it, Wally? Who are you talking Relax, will you, and let him give us some tourist directions back to Barstow. There'll be no policy changing at this late date, mister. Ned Kringle is very bereaved at the imminence of his uncle's demise. Just family admitted at this sad hour, so mosey along, folks. I'll leave the young man to his grief. Your foot is in the door, mister. I don't like your foot. And I don't like you.
His hand moved to his shoulder holster, but Jean was standing right beside me. It was Doc who suddenly shouldered past D'Agostino and fled up the stairs that gave him my chance. I kicked the door wide. Threw him off balance. I shoved Jeannie aside, and that was a mistake. Because a million Christmas tree lights blazed up in my skull. Then slowly the tree lights faded away, and I saw Jeannie fussing over me and looking worried. A young, nice-looking fellow was seated next to a marble-top table. D'Agostino leaned against the stone fireplace and dangled his gun, smiling like he had a stacked deck.
He's all right, Doc?
A nasty cut, but no fracture.
I know how to pull my punches, Doc.
The old man. How is he?
No better, no worse. Just lying up there staring at the ceiling.
I want to see Chris. I have a right to, Ned. I'm an old friend.
Wooly, wouldn't it be okay if Gene just went up? No, let him die in peace. He's past carrot hoe season.
Wooly, these people have a right.
I said no. I'll get a hero boy in his feet and shove off. Go on.
Come on, Johnny. Help me, Doc.
How's it going to feel, Ned? Sharing blood money with a hoodlum. Your uncle paid for that policy with a pick and a shovel. It took a lot of years, a lot of sweat. And he's had your name on that policy ever since you were born.
Old man Kringle never saw pay dirt in his life. Ned had given money to live on, paid the premiums on his policy. Chris was always tapping the kid, claiming he had a new find. He was going to mine $1 million.
Boy, shut up.
The old man's dying. Tell him, Ned. Tell him how the old phony was always taking the bows, making like Santa Claus with the money you give him.
Willie, haven't you got a...
Tell him to hold on to the money. I know he's been waiting a long time for this. Me.
Willie D'Agostino, that's who.
Is that true, Ned?
Yeah. I thought my uncle would make a strike someday. I honestly thought he'd strike it rich. I know he tried.
He did strike it rich, Ned. When he dies, every man, woman, and child in this town will mourn him. He'll live in their hearts. What will people remember about you, Mr. D'Agostino?
All right, get out and stay out before I...
Willie, this rifle will make a hole in your belly big enough to pass a borax beam through. So you just drop that gun. Well, I don't know what the shouting's about, but you're guilty of carrying sidearms and you're threatening violence, Mr. D'Agostino. And ain't nobody does that in Calico, as long as I am the marshal. Now, you better get.
Ed Noller, I love you.
Oh, don't let Gladys hear that.
Well, I'll see how Chris is.
Doc, you tell the old buzzard that I got his Carmen back in the corral. Jingle bells and all.
Yeah, nice work, Ed.
Now, what's holding you, mister?
Okay. All right, let's go, Ned. Let the squares have a round, huh? I'm going to stay here, Willie. I want to be here when Chris... Hey, that's a good idea. That way, no fooling around with the will, huh? Smart kid, that Ned. See you at the funeral, huh? I'll go up now.
You were wonderful, Marshal. You too, Johnny.
Oh, yeah, sure. I take a nice sock on the head.
Say, you folks better come up, too. Chris wants to say something.
Oh, wait a second. I figured on this. The corral. Come on.
D'Agostino must have had another gun in his car. One of the bullets had found the mark he intended. Willie Boy wasn't taking any chances that Carmen Kringle would inherit $50,000. We found the burro lying on her side, quite dead. Jingle bells and all.
Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment. Oh, Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Carmen Kringle matter.
Marshal. Johnny. How could he have been so cruel? Carmen dead. It's just not right.
Yeah. I figured D'Agostino might be mean enough to try killing Chris's pet burro.
We can't tell him about it. It would kill him for sure.
You'll have to know the truth, Gene. You'll have to decide about the will.
Yeah. Truth is always the best. And easy this time.
Easy?
Huh? Yeah. I'll just take these bells off of this poor little feller, and I'll put them where they belong. Carmen? What? Carmen.
Oh.
Mosey over here now.
Well, you pulled a switch. You put these bells on another book.
Yeah. I didn't trust that greasy character, and I was right. And nice girl, Carmen.
Well, baby.
Now, you folks going up and see old Chris. I'll keep an eye on this here $50,000 jackass. That's the way it's going to be, ain't it, Johnny?
Yes, sir. That's the way it's going to be. But I was wrong. The roly-poly little old man on the four-poster bed with his white whiskers resting on the quilt changed his mind again. Even after hearing about how the marshal saved Carmen.
I wasn't going to scratch Ned's name off of that insurance, Mr. Dollar. I tried to shake that D'Agostino, figuring he'd take his hooks off of Ned if he thought my Carmen was going to get the money. Oh, I was scared for a while that I just might have to up and die to square my nephew's gambling debts.
I'm sorry, Chris. I'll work my fingers raw paying every cent I owe, but I'll pay him back with interest. I want you around.
Okay, Mr. Dollar.
Yeah, Chris.
Lift the lid on that footlocker and fetch me one of them bags in there. They're pretty heavy, but you look strong.
Oh, they're sure heavy enough. You got them stuffed with silver?
It's better than silver. Open it up there. Yeah, that's it there. Yeah, recognize that?
Yeah. Maybe you'd better have a good sleep, Chris. This here is plain old gravel.
Oh, plain gravel. It's uranium, Doc. Huh? The last batch assayed at $900 a ton. And I got a mountain of it staked out. In both our names, Ned.
You don't care. Why, Chris?
Mr. Dollar, if you and Jeannie check with the Barstow Bank, you'll find that they'll extend credit on the strength of that assay. You reckon you can spend 2 days buying enough presents so as we won't disappoint the folks hereabouts?
Expense account item 4, $68 even. Telephone calls to 5 principal cities where I thought Willie D'Agostino might be remembered. The police departments had a long list of reasons why they remembered Willie. That was my Christmas present to them. Expense account item 5, another $50. Truck rental to haul the presents we bought for Ned to give away come Christmas morning. And then it was Christmas Eve. We sat on the Kringle's porch and watched the procession up to the Magi mine. The flickering lights from the miners' lamps reflecting on the faces of the happy children. Old Chris was bundled up in blankets, his little eyes twinkling, chuckling to himself like he knew all the answers to the universe. Jean was there, too.
Kind of nice. Isn't it, Johnny?
Kind of nice. Marshal Ed Noller was one of the wise men in the procession. I recognized the sideburns. And Doc Spangler couldn't hide his height. Oh, he wore an awful beard. Ned Kringle led the burro that carried the Blessed Mother. Yeah, you guessed it. The burro was Carmen Kringle. Expense account total, including return to Palm Springs and incidentals, $229.75. But forget it, Pat. This is the best holiday I ever had. And I was only cold at the start. From all of us to all of you, may this be your very merriest Christmas ever. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Now, Frank Sinatra, transcribed.
It all started when I answered a Christmas ad for a department store. The ad said, young man of good character as auxiliary store detective and other duties, 2-week employment. So, next day I am an auxiliary shamus for Quackenbaum's department store. Kind of a high-class Fifth Avenue dispensary where for only $50 you can buy your girl a mink toothbrush. And for an extra $5,000 you can get her a coat to match.
This way, Mr.
Fortune, Rocky Fortune, Mr. Prim.
Yes. This is 5th floor, children's toys. Note, please, Santa's workshop and the enchanted igloo. This will be your post.
What do I do?
Just keep an eye on the merchandise. Quackenbaum's has had a good deal of shoplifting recently.
Yeah, especially in the jewelry department, eh?
We don't like to talk about that, Mr. Fortune.
Mister, it's been on the front page of all the newspapers for a week. $8,000 worth of pearls.
Wow. The thief will be apprehended in good time, have no fear. Well, I must get back to my office.
Just a minute, Mr. Prim.
Yes?
What happens if I see a gunner?
A what?
A lifter, a thief.
Apprehend the criminal with the merchandise and bring both to my office behind the elevators. The name Lysander Prim is on the door.
Check.
Oh, and one other thing.
Yeah?
At lunch hour, you will relieve Santa Claus.
You mean put on a beard and everything?
Oh, it's just for half an hour. As a matter of fact, you start in exactly 5 minutes.
I'm not exactly built for this.
Neither is our present Santa. They're running thin this year. Just ask Big Elf to help stuff you.
Big Elf?
Santa's helper. The large fellow in the elf suit.
Oh, sure.
Good luck, Mr. Fortune. The honor of Quackenbaum's is in your hands.
At $44.50 a week, Mr. Quackenbaum is getting a bargain. Big Elf, whose name is Marty, weighs about 250. He helps me into Santa's suit, and I take over inside the magic igloo while Santa goes out for some chowder. I embarrass a couple of mothers by promising everything the kids ask for, and I'm really living it up, having the time of my life when a little girl about 6 comes in all by herself. She's a pretty little thing, too, with blue eyes and freckles. On one leg is a light steel brace. Jingle bells, jingle, all, and that's what I want for Christmas. Well, hello, honey. You here all alone?
Yes, sir.
Well, what can I do for you?
I have a note for you.
A letter for old Santa, huh? Ho, let's have a look. Dear Santa, you know what we want for Christmas. We better get it or you'll never live to make those Christmas Eve deliveries. Signed, you know who. Well, did you write this letter yourself, honey?
No, sir. A man gave it to me.
What did he look like?
A big man with a black mustache. He gave me a nickel, too.
Heavy spender, huh? Honey, what's your name?
Gail. Gail Grayson.
And what would you like Santa to bring you for Christmas, Gail?
I'd like your elf.
You mean Big Bonehead out there?
Oh, no. Not the man in the elf suit. I mean the elf doll. The one with the red silk suit and the green hat.
Oh, well, that's pretty expensive, honey. Maybe your mommy and daddy can't afford it.
I don't have any mommy and daddy.
Oh. Well, you leave your name and address with Santa, and I'll see if we can't arrange for something. It might not be that same doll, but...
That's the one I want.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, look, Gail.
Gail?
Here, there you are. I told you to wait outside the man's office.
I wanted to talk to Santa about getting that elf doll.
Honey, I told you that doll cost too much.
Santa says maybe he can arrange something.
Santa's wrong. Look, mister, I've just been seeing a man about trying to get a job in this place so we can afford to eat. I don't have money for expensive dolls.
Well, I'm sorry, miss.
We've no business building up false hopes in children. They put so much faith in this.
Well, if you just let me explain...
Come around and explain Christmas Eve if you can.
Well, I'd like to, but I don't even know your name.
This is my sister Laura, and we live at 65 Bluetman Street, 5 flights up, Santa.
Gail, for heaven's sake. Come along.
You won't forget the doll, will you, Santa? Please, please don't forget, please.
Lose a customer, Jack? I'm afraid I lost a friend, too. Cheer up. Maybe you won't live long, then you won't need a friend. Why don't you just stick to being a big elf, huh, Marty? Don't be a wise guy, Fortune. Me? I'm never a smart aleck. By the way, how do they spell elf? O-A-F? After lunch, the real make-believe Santa Claus comes back, and I turn over the suit, beard, and stuffing. I'm glad to get back to being a store detective. That big elf is no pleasure to work with. I keep thinking of little Gail. Well, let's face it, I keep thinking of her big sister, who's got eyes like Dresden china and a figure like a Lamar's teapot. I wonder if I'm ever going to see her again. I don't have to wonder long, because right away things begin to happen.
Help! Duffy! Santa!
All right. Hold it.
Oh, let me go.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Well, Laura Grayson.
Who are you?
Santa Claus, remember? My name is Rocky Fortune. I'm also the store dick in this
Oh,
department.
Mr. Fortune, please. I don't know why. I took it.
Well, let's see what we've got here.
It's the elf doll. The one Dale wanted.
Oh, baby, if you're going to shoplift a doll, they got better ways worked out than just pick it up and run with it.
I had to take it. I couldn't disappoint her. I couldn't.
Yeah, I guess it was partly my fault.
I suppose you'll turn me over to the police now.
Well, hold it. Lady, this ain't for general publication. Between you and me, I'm the world's worst toy store detective. Too much larceny in my blood. So I'll just turn around for 20 or 30 minutes, and if you're not gone when I turn back, I'm going to put the pinch on you.
You're letting me go?
Please, let's not be vulgar.
Well, thank you, Rocky.
Hey.
What?
You forgot the doll.
But...
I was going to buy it for her anyway. Besides, I get it for only $3 because it's a display model. Now, beat it.
Oh, Rocky, I could kiss you.
Go ahead.
I will. Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year to you. Wow. The kid slips down the stairway with the elf doll, and I am still wearing a lipstick on my cheek when Mr. Prim boils over. He looks so much like a clothing store dummy, you expect to find a price tag on him. Right behind him is Marty, the big oaf elf.
Mr. Fortune.
Oh, hi.
Where is he?
Where is who? Whom? He.
The dame who stole the doll from Santa's workshop.
Oh, you are a little elf, aren't you?
Mr. Marty here tells me he saw you catch her. Where is she?
Overpowered me. She must be a lady wrestler or something.
Mr. Fortune.
Tell you what, though, Mr. Prim, just to make everything okay, I'll pay for the doll.
What?
No kidding. You see, I know the young lady, and I was going to buy it for her anyway, so I...
Well, this is highly irregular.
Oh, come on, Mr. Prim. Think of how proud Mr. Quackenbaum will be when you tell him you unloaded that shop-worn display model. Huh?
Well, it's highly irregular, but go ahead. The sales clerk will make out the proper form.
Well, thanks, Mr. Prim. I'll do that.
Hey, Fortune.
Yeah.
What was the dame's name?
What's it to you?
Just curious, you know.
I know. Stay just as you are. After closing time, I go into the employee's dressing room for a quick wash-up and a change of linen. Place empties out when my pal, the store Santa, slaps in after a hard day at the igloo. He takes off his red suit, and I see he's built like a Japanese wrestler with a nose like Rudolph the reindeer, only it ain't from drinking melted snow.
Well, good night, everybody.
Good night, Herm. Looks as if the detectives and the Santa Clauses are the late workers in this department, huh?
Yeah, just you and me now.
Just you, Santa. I'm blowing right now.
Just a minute.
Yeah?
That girl who stole the elf doll.
What about her?
Mr. Prim mentioned that you know her.
So?
I'd like to know her name.
You're the second guy in a half an hour. What is this?
Just what I said, Fortune. What's her name and where does she live?
Look, I know you've been making a list and checking it twice, Uncle, but just why do you want to know?
I had my eye on that elf doll myself for my kid. I'd like to get it for her.
They got brand new ones in stock.
I'm interested in that one. So the name, huh?
Sorry, Uncle.
Fortune. Maybe I don't make myself clear. I want that girl's name and address. I want it very bad.
You know you shouldn't use that tone of voice. It don't sound like you got the holiday spirit.
I'm going to use more than a tone of voice if you don't unclaim.
Sorry, Sam.
Okay, Fortune.
Okay, boy. You want to fight?
I'll fight. What's her name?
Why, you puss, I'll push you.
Gentlemen, please, just what is going on here?
Well, let Samson here tell you.
I was just showing Mr. Fortune here a couple of judo holds that might come in handy next time a young girl overpowers him.
This is not a gymnasium, gentlemen. I'll thank you to leave and report back promptly tomorrow morning. Good evening.
I managed to stagger out of my own power and head back to my flat. I figure I'll have some supper and then locate Laura Grayson for another look at that elf doll that everybody wants to get his hands on. Also, for another look at Laura Grayson. Yeah. I stopped to line my flu at a local cafeteria and go up to the flat. I walk in like I live there, which I do, and discover I have guests.
Hello, Rocky.
Well. Sergeant Hamilton J. Finger. If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake with poison in it.
A cake with a file in it would be more useful where you're going, Rocky, my old pal.
You are referring to the house of detention?
The same.
Well, sir, if my days as a processor serve me correctly, they make mention of a thing titled due process, which means you don't arrest a guy without you can make some kind of charge, right?
Right.
So?
So we would like to revolve the wheel of our conversation around the axle of your understanding down at the Irish clubhouse.
Concerning?
Concerning a murder.
You said a murder?
Yeah.
Who?
Rocky. This is going to come as a shock to a naive young boy like yourself. But there ain't no Santa Claus.
How come?
How come? Because somebody stuck a knife in him. He's laying on his face over in Quackenbaum's department store. Let's go.
I spent the next few hours as a guest of the city, in the squad room, or sweatbox, as it is affectionately remembered by inmates of various steel academies in this state. And mine host, the Sergeant Finger.
All right! Now for the last time. You had an argument with him, right?
He had one with me.
Okay. He socked you.
Yes.
You socked him.
Right.
You got interrupted.
Right.
You left.
Right.
Then you come back and stabbed him.
Wrong.
Okay. Let's have your story.
Somebody was after him, Sarge. I got a threatening note that was supposed to go to him.
Where is it?
Here.
This is kid stuff.
You ever hear of a kid threatening Santa Claus? Come on, Sarge.
Okay. So it ain't kid stuff. Who sent it and why?
That's what the taxpayers hire you to figure out. Maybe it's got some connection with a jewel robbery.
What do you know about the jewel robbery?
Just what I read in the papers. Somebody snatched $8,000 worth of pearls.
You, maybe?
Don't be ridiculous. I wasn't even working there when it happened.
What makes you think it was an inside job?
The newspapers. They got the opinion from the police. You familiar with this organization?
Don't get funny.
Did it ever occur to you that maybe Santa Claus was in on that jewel job?
As a matter of fact, Rocky, the guy in that Santa Claus suit has a record as long as your arm. Only one thing is wrong.
Yeah?
We can't arrest him for his own murder.
So why pin it on me?
You're available. Also, whoever stabbed him was in on the inside. It happened after the store closed. Also, there's $8,000 worth of pearls floating around someplace and a reward for 1,000 to whoever finds them.
No kidding.
Yeah, you want to claim it? All you have to do is confess you killed a guy, turn in the pearls, collect the reward.
And go to the chair. I'll tell you what, Sarge. You do me a favor and I'll confess to the murder. The jewel robbery and all of the other old crimes you're too stupid to solve.
What's the favor?
Drop dead.
Rocky, someday, pow! Right in the toy department.
Come on, Finger. You know as well as I do I couldn't have done it.
What makes you think so?
That note the lieutenant handed you a few minutes ago. You checked my alibi, and I was feeding my face in the cafeteria when he got stabbed. So stop giving me the needle and let me go home.
Fortune, someday.
I know. Pow! Can I go now?
Don't you like it here?
It's great, but I got a date with a doll. Finger turns me loose, and I jockey my way right down to Laura Grayson's apartment in a cheap village flat. It's about 9 p.m. when I get my finger in the doorbell.
Just a moment.
Rocky.
Hi. Can I come in a minute?
Of course.
Where's Gail?
Sleep. I hope so, anyway.
Listen, honey, I have to ask you something.
Well?
Have you got the doll?
Of course. Gail's so happy about it, she's ready to fly.
Look, I'll have to ask you for it back.
You what?
Well, I'll get another one to replace it, a brand new one, really. But right now, I got to have that one.
Sure, Rocky. Sure.
It sounds kind of funny, and I can't explain it now, but you tell the kid I'll get her another one, huh?
It isn't necessary, Rocky. Wait a minute, I'll get it for you. Here.
Thanks. I have to get back to the store. I'll call you tomorrow, maybe for dinner, huh?
Uh-huh.
Good night, Laura.
Good night, Rocky.
I knew what she was thinking, so I didn't try to make any excuses. I just took the doll and headed back to my flat to take a look inside. It was as empty as an eggshell in a fox farm. I was just reaching for the phone when it rang. Hello?
Rocky?
Yeah.
Well, this is Laura. Rocky, something terrible has happened.
What's wrong? What's the matter?
Well, just after you left, a man came, a big man with a black mustache, and he asked for the doll. Said he was from the department store police. I told him you'd taken it back to the store, and he left.
Well, what's so terrible?
Well, he must have awakened Gail, and she overheard it. Anyway, when I went into her room just now, she was gone. Rocky, I don't know what to do.
She heard you say I was taking a doll to the store?
Yes.
Maybe she's on her way over there now to try to get the doll back.
At this hour?
Honey, 6-year-old kids don't know from the wages and hours law. Look, I'll take a run over there just in case she shows up. You notify the police and meet me. I stuff the kid's doll in my overcoat pocket and flag a cab over to Quackenbaum's department store. There's no sign of the kid out front, so I leg it around to the delivery entrance. No sign. I decide to check inside and show my pass to the night watchman at the entrance.
Hold it, mister.
Hiya, Pop. I work here.
Let's see your card.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, store dick, huh?
That's right, Pop. Now, listen, I'm looking for a little girl about 7 years old. Wears a brace on one foot. You seen her?
What would a kid like that be doing here after hours?
Her mother thinks she got lost in the store.
Oh. Well, I only been on a couple of minutes. I ain't seen her.
I'm going up to check the toy department on 5. You keep an eye out, will you? If she comes along, send her up to 5. I'll be waiting.
Okay. I'll keep watch, Fair.
Thanks. I go up to the toy department. In the darkness, it looks as eerie as a graveyard on Halloween. I figure maybe Gail managed to slip in past the watchman, so I give a yell. Gail! I almost scare myself to death. What's that?
Nobody here but us toys, boss. Get 'em up, Fortune.
I assume that ain't a lollipop stick in my spine.
That's right, smart boy. Step over here in the light.
So what do I owe the pleasure?
Just a little shopping trip. I'm looking for a doll.
You don't say.
I do. So hand it over.
Help yourself. It's in the coat pocket.
Toss it here.
There.
Now stand still while I have a look inside. Okay, wise guy, where's the stuff?
Stuff?
Don't play dumb. With $8,000 worth of pearls from last week's job inside this doll, where are they?
Search me, pal. Maybe you got the wrong doll.
I got the right doll, Buster.
What makes you so sure?
Santa Claus stole me. Before he died.
Looks like you and Santa Claus were in on that robbery.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Until he tried to double-cross me.
What happened?
I heisted this stuff and gave it to Santa Claus to hide. He hid it so good I couldn't find it. He wasn't going to tell me where it was until I gave him more than half. Only I changed his mind for him.
Yeah, with a 4-inch blade.
Uh-huh. You should be a store detective. You're real smart.
I take it the stuff was in the doll.
That's right, Rocky. Only it ain't there now. And you had that doll.
Which means?
Unless you unclam, I may have to give you the same treatment I gave Santa Claus.
I'm telling you, the pearls were gone when I got that doll home.
And I'm telling you, if they were gone, it's because you took them.
I don't have them. Sue me.
Rocky, old man, it's Christmas time and goodwill to men and all that, and I hate to knock off 2 guys in the same day. But if you don't spill them pearls in 5 seconds, I'm going to put lead in your brain. Now, where are they?
I don't know.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's it? Gail, hi. Come back here, Fortune. Here's a football for Christmas, boy. I let Big Elf have it in a puss with a football from the toy counter and grab the kid. We duck into the maze of counters and crawl along until we get behind some packing crates. Marty's cursing and looking for it. And he's still got a gun, too.
Rocky, I had to find you alone.
Don't let him hear us. Crawl into this packing case.
Rocky, I'm scared.
Do as I say.
Okay, Rocky.
Fortune! It's no use, Fortune. I'm going to find you, and when I do... Come on out, Fortune! Come on out!
Rocky, I'm scared.
So am I, kid. We got to do something. Let's see what they got in these boxes. Mighty Mike mechanical police car. Oh, there's a big help. Hey!
What?
Let me have one of those.
Here. What are you going to do, Rocky?
You'll see.
I'm coming, Fortune.
Look out, Marty.
What's that?
It's 2 shots. He's got a revolver that holds 6. 4 to go. Let's see now.
Here's something, Rocky. Super rocket ship.
Fine. Let's try this on. Ready? Go.
Fortune, are you crazy? I'm going to get you.
2 or 5. One more. What's in that box?
There's a atomic blaster. Turn your space cadet side.
Why not? Let's try it.
I hear you, Fortune. I hear you now.
Try this, Clint. You missed, Marty. That's pretty bad shooting.
Maybe, punk, but this ain't gonna be. What's it?
Those things gotta be loaded before you can shoot them, Marty, remember?
You dirty...
Here's something else for Christmas. My gift to Santa's helper was a Louisville slugger right on top of the noggin. And just as he went out, the lights went on. Suddenly the place was crawling with humanity.
Rocky. Gail, are you all right?
We're fine, baby. Well, look who's here, late as usual.
No wisecracks. This the missing kid, lady?
Yes, officer, thank you.
Who's this stiff?
This is the bum who killed Santa Claus.
Boy, you should have seen Rocky beat him with that bat.
By the way, Gail, where's the stuff that was inside the doll?
You mean the pretty marbles? I thought they came inside the doll, Rocky. It was a sort of surprise.
Some surprise. Do you have them?
I think so. In my pocket someplace. Oh, here they are.
Sergeant? Here you are, sir. Just in case you ain't got all your marbles.
Marbles? Hey, those are the pearls that were heisted last week.
He's got a magnificent mind, this Sergeant Finger, doesn't he? Gail, I'm sorry about the doll, honey, but unless I'm mistaken, you got about $1,000 reward coming for this stuff.
$1,000? Rocky, it's too good to be true. I must be dreaming.
Want me to pinch you?
Couldn't you just kiss me instead?
Why not? Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
NBC has presented Frank Sinatra as that footloose and fancy-free young gentleman, Rocky Fortune. Others in tonight's cast included Ted Von Eltz, Mary McGovern, Kay Stewart, Frank Gerstle, Jim Nusser, Barney Phillips, Bill Justine. Tonight's script was written by George Lefferts. Andrew C. Love directed. And now, to tell you about next week's adventure, here's Frank Sinatra as Rocky Fortune.
Next week, I managed to get involved in a fixed fight. Some gamblers want me to stay down for the long count, from here to eternity. Tune in and I'll tell you all about it. Till then, I'll see you around.
Visit with Fibber, McGee, and Molly tonight on the NBC Radio Network.